that's just a little kind of, if anything happens, it will be fine. But it's bendy, do you know what I mean? So it's, the tape is taped to the other thing, and then that's taped to the foil, and the foil's taped to the, so it's kind of a bit of a, it's a bit of an 8-time version of it.
You do anything to hide that crack that he's causing that window.
But yeah, but the thing is how does like double glaze crack?
Defective. My flipping windscreen cracked, and I said to the guy who changed that, I said, like, what have I done? I said, have I hit a chip in or something? He said, no, it's delaminated itself. It's just defective.
Because it's got to have there has to be an imperfection in the actual glass when you put the thing in the first place.
You're building this case up, aren't you?
No, I'm not. But this isn't. It kind of go on the podcast. I was talking about cracked glass as well.
So literally, I was at home, put Peter to bed. It was night time. The bathroom window just went smash like this. I was like, oh my gosh, there's someone in the house. So I called my neighbour and said, could you just like keep an eye on me while I walk out in the garage, just check there's no one there.
Yeah.
But it's because apparently we had a friend who's a window fitter. Apparently it's putting it in wrong, because if it's put in the wrong way round, the air gets in, and then it expands and then it smashes the window.
Right. Okay.
I'm not accusing you of anything, right? But you've brought a story into my head. I might just talk about it now.
I was going to say it's not the window cleaner, is it?
Are we recording? No, it's not a window cleaner.
We're very much window.
I'm getting conscious that my life's like a series of gaffes, right?
Okay.
But
it's a story.
This is confessional, because I've got a mate of mine who I think watches the podcast, and it's actually about his house.
We're not going to call him out, are we?
Right. Nobody will know exactly who it is.
You're fucking with cameras, Tim. Said please don't. All right, okay.
Right, so have you ever done anything to try and cover a mistake?
We can
like
punch in after.
Create really, really complex stories to try and cover your tracks?
No, I've never done
Never,
it.
ever.
No,
Not even when you were young?
Kind of a little bit ish, but you always end up getting called out. I was too goody two shoes to do any of that when I was a kid.
I'm 47 now, and I'm confessing I didn't get caught.
I would never ever do that when I was a kid. I was too frightened for getting wrong. I told off.
Well, I had a moment, right? It's on brand.
You're younger than me.
Are you? Why?
I'm 48.
You look better than me, so take that one. So, right, used to go to a lad's house when I was young, best mates. Clue is in the fact that he's got the same surname as me. If you replace the J with an H, right? And whenever his parents used to travel a lot, I think they had like a camper van to drive over to Europe and that. And they were, like me, quite liberal parents, so he always used to get left behind. His bigger brother would pop in and say who he was, and he'd left to the house. We'd go around there in the summer, and that was like my den, where all the lads hung out, and that we went out in that house.
So I was one
There's
mate.
always one family and one lad. One mate, I felt sorry for him because you'd pile in, let's go around. Yeah. Right? They're not back for about 5 days.
Free house.
Oh, it was a free house.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I'd go there, and I would be sitting playing like Championship Manager in his bedroom. But he was like, back then, I'm talking like early 90s, I'd imagine, you had a coffee percolator.
Really?
Who had a coffee percolator? Early 1990s. Like, honestly, I think that might have been the gateway to my foodie world, because I used to go around his house and go, oh, put your coffee on, put that percolator on. Remember the old ones with the glass, really thin glass jugs that go underneath.
Yeah.
And you'd hear it dripping through. Yeah. Anyway, I was sitting in his room playing Championship Manager, and I was like, that coffee should be finished now. Who do you think they were? Like 11-year-old making coffee
11.
and that.
I was thinking 14.
No, I can't remember. I'll have to try and think. It would have been between 11 and 14, right? And
because posh coffee back then was Mellow Birds, wasn't it?
Well, exactly. Mellow Birds.
The fine, not the hard stuff.
Yeah. Totally. That was it. And but they had those pouches. And I always remember going in.
Pan of milk.
Like, the foil, the ones that are vac packed, and you cut the tops, and before the gas comes out.
Yeah.
So they'd have them in the cupboard with a peg on it. You know what I mean? Looking after it. Sometimes in the fridge. Educated coffee consumers.
Yeah.
Right? So, sitting in his room, I'd go and get a cup of coffee. Went downstairs, and I was just so cack-handed, like I am with everything. So I pulled out the jug. It's got like a little lip at the top that holds it under the drip.
Yeah, you've got to do a little dip, haven't you?
Yeah.
I
pulled it out, and it bounced off the bench and cracked all the way around underneath.
Yeah.
Right? Coffee starts flooding out of it.
Yeah.
yeah, look, I'm drinking Maxwell House at my house.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I don't know how much this coffee percolator cost. It could be like, my God, it could be a tenner.
Yeah.
Right? 1990. Like, how am I going to replace this?
It's probably 1,700
So you know
quid
what
back
I've
then,
done?
wasn't it?
Shocking. So you know what I did? I went into his living room, and do you remember the days when you could dial 1471?
Yeah. Yeah. And find out who ran. All right.
No. 1471 was when you
1471
could make
so-
it ring. Remember?
That's what I was 1
Which was the- was it-
yeah, it was 1471 was who's
1471
rang
was
your
who's
rang
rang,
house,
which
yeah.
was the one where you
Yeah.
could dial.
I don't know, it was
and then
like
you put the phone down.
1571 something like that.
1571.
Yeah,
You
something
put
like
it down,
that.
it would ring.
Uh,
Right, so I did that. Don't worry, I'll get it. So I picked up the phone and I was going, oh, all right, okay. What now? Oh, man. All right, I'll leave now. Mate, I'm going to have to go home because Mum says I've got to go back. I'm really sorry. But the coffee's on. I'll come back later if I can. Right. And I ran out of the house, went all the way home. And he rang us in tears later on. Oh, someone's broke your mum's coffee machine. I was like, oh,
Someone?
God, what's happened? There was coffee all over the floor and that. I came downstairs. I've got no idea. When I left the house, the pot was just full.
yeah.
And I never told him the truth. Ian, I'm telling you the truth now. I broke your coffee percolator. And I'm sorry. I'll replace one for you. If so is your desire.
I can't, right.
It's like the last one to see them alive. I left. They were
Oh.
still alive when I
No, but
left.
the thing is, I had a series of those things, though. Like, I did it. I smashed someone's window with me hip, wearing a pair of roller skates. Short shorts, chunky, roller skates. Tried to get into somebody's house. The door was stuck. And you remember the old 2-panel glass doors?
Mm-hmm.
Glass at the bottom, glass at the top. And I pushed it with my hip. My hip went through the glass pane.
Yeah.
And I sprinted with roller skates on that I couldn't wear, by the way. I couldn't use them. So I was just, like, trying to get out the garden.
Oh, did you not tiptoe like that?
Nah,
With the stopper?
like Homer Simpson.
Tiptoe with the stopper. Yeah.
So I ran out, sat behind the gate, sat on the ground as if I was like in a trench.
See Chris like a ballerina running away.
And then she comes out screaming, "Someone's broken the door!" And my voice was shaking, and I was just pretending to do the laces on the rollerblades, the roller skates like that. So did you see anybody? I'm like, no, I didn't. They must have went over the back of your garden. I'm so ashamed. I stopped doing it in my like 30s. But embellishing those stories like that.
The trail,
Sorry, I had to do it here.
the trail of Jewett.
Yeah, I've got loads more. Breaking my brother's hi-fi.
Yeah.
Breaking his mobile phone.
But it was always accidental, but you're always frightened to kind of, like,
Yeah, but why would I set other people up?
ask the question.
thank
That's all right, yeah, because I didn't bring that in because Hannah was drawn there, so I was just wondering,
Oh,
like...
no, it's all
I
right.
just want to let you finish, that's all, because we're just having a rant. Well, I
Oh,
didn't want to interrupt
no.
you, kind of love
Oh
your
no! You
artwork,
see,
and
this
you
is
just chat, so, yeah.
how I relax.
Yeah.
Like, so I've got such a fast brain, and for when I'm listening to people, actually, I think the best thing is to actually draw, and so I'm not really focusing on the drawing. I'm actually listening. But yeah, I listen better when I'm drawing.
You
Okay,
listen
yeah.
better when you're drawing.
Yeah.
Really? It's really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, because I'm really impulsive. So if I'm drawing something else, I can like calm down and I listen better.
So when you were at school or when you were younger, were you a proper doodler?
Yes. Yeah.
But doodlers always lose their concentration. Like I used to doodle and then kind of just drift off. So could you,
I did that as
would it-
well.
Yeah.
Like, no, I always yeah. I don't think it's because I never used my illustration with my work. Whereas as I got older, I learnt to use my not just doodle, but use the illustrations to tell the story of what I was learning. So yeah, it was my biology teacher, Dr. Cox. He was really cool, and he thought it was hilarious. He was actually the first teacher to actually go, actually, I really like the doodles that you do on the corner where like, I don't know, like bleach was chasing a bacterium molecule.
Oh wow!
or
So you were
something.
doing it that early.
Making
Like,
stories from biology
yeah,
and stuff like that.
and I just put like just little
Okay.
scribbles around
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
margins because
yeah.
I wasn't really taking most of it in. Like,
Yeah.
I did all right. I sort of scraped through at school. I tried my absolute best, but yeah. So it was, yeah. I had dyslexia really badly, but they didn't find that out too quite
But
well.
it's just case in point that everyone isn't suited for everything. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of, you have your own thing, which is art, and just let you do that, and then that would be your world, because we're always telling our kids, find some passion. you got to find passion, and there's nothing worse than not finding it.
Yeah.
You already had it anyway, so why don't we just lean into the passion side? But you have to bumble your way through this other stuff, which is really difficult, but it takes you away from your passion, you know?
Well, interesting. It wasn't my passion till a lot later because I actually went to nursing first.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, so I didn't have a clue. I didn't think I was arty at school at all.
Really? Even when you were doodling and everything like that?
No, I wasn't, because in art class they teach you about drawing like these beautiful Chinese, it was very interesting on a history point of view, but it wasn't the stuff I liked drawing. Or drawing buildings with no story. Like there was just drawing for the sake of drawing.
But when you came out of school, like say when you went home from school, did you still draw?
No.
Or was it just a thing you were doing to get through the lessons?
To get through the lessons.
Was it really?
Yeah.
It is,
And I did more. I loved Sims too. I used to play a lot of Sims too.
Sims. I like Sims. Sims was fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I used to try and do all the tricks on it where you could sort of, this might be really boring for people that don't like Sims 2, but I used to be able to have little alien families. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
And it's just hilarious. Love it.
There was a game prior to Sims. I can't remember what you called it, but I was obsessed. It was on like a Commodore 64. The tape in and all that. You had to load the game up. But I think it was like the precursor to Sims because it was just basically a family in a house that you controlled. You could send somebody to the toilet or look after the dog, go and do the garden, whatever. You know what I mean?
It got
I was just so, this is like you're controlling this universe. And Sims, when Sims came out, it was just like blowing that whole thing up, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Extended universe gaming and all that.
No, it got a bit dark though, because you could if you wanted to have ghosts, you had to kind of kill off your people. Which is a bit dark. Yeah. So you can starve them, or you can make them die in the swimming pool, or you'd get them, or you'd make them do things that they aren't qualified to do, and then they'd electrocute themselves. And
I was just about to think electrocution. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're plugging the wrong
them.
thing in, the toaster falls in the bath.
Can I toss an extra laugh? Of course it can.
The Stephen King
Why not?
Sims, isn't it?
Sometimes you wonder, it's like the government's collecting data about people's intentions.
Oh, via Sims. yeah. Keeping
Go
an
on,
eye on
you use that toaster next to the bath. Go on.
Yeah. But it's because the thing is, it's Grand Theft Auto and all that. You still do that. It's like, how many people can you run over for points? It's all or steal the money and all that stuff.
I remember the first one was from Sky View, and you used to just walk around and sort of.
Yes.
My friends had it. We used to play on it with when we had sleepovers and stuff.
Yeah.
It's good.
Can't beat a sleepover.
Oh my goodness. I was just reminiscing with a friend about it. We were about probably 11, and we would have giant Cadbury's. You know, the biggest Cadbury's you could actually buy from your local.
The ones
corner
that
shop. To us, they seemed bigger than the sofa.
Like those pretend checks that you give.
Yes.
When I was a kid, a Toblerone was the biggest thing you could get. You couldn't get the massive
On your
ones.
shoulder.
We'd just work our way through one of these, literally through that. Stay up as long as you could, eat through a whole Cadbury's. So, we're allowed on this food podcast. You're allowed to say brands and stuff, aren't you?
Do anything
Yeah,
you want.
yeah,
We're trying to
that's
get
great.
sponsors anyway. So
Cadbury's.
Cadbury's.
Yeah.
We'll get the biggest bar you've ever done and see how long it takes for us to eat
Panel
it.
the whole walls of bars of Cadbury's.
Could I? Yeah. Mad, wouldn't it?
Amazing.
That would look quite good, actually.
It would, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Little bricks.
Would it add to sound deadening? You know, look like
imagine the smell all
sound
the time?
deadening. But yeah, I'll be like a Cadbury's factory. But
I'd go
you
for
know, if you
Bourneville,
worked
actually,
if you worked in a Cadbury's factory, would you get bored with the smell of chocolate? You would, wouldn't you? I think you'd get bored with everything if you're around it.
You do, honestly. I did a lot of work in chocolate factories and confectionery factories, and there's a really awful, after you've been there for an hour, you go beyond the enjoyable sensation to it just being like this awful smell.
No.
Smell. It's hard to describe. It is like the direct smell of sugar hitting you right up the top of your nostrils.
Oh no!
And it's just there all the time.
So it's not even nose blindness. It's actually clinical smell.
It's just like a really
Yeah.
permeates everything, so you can smell it everywhere.
Does it make you
However,
happy?
what-
Does it make you sad? How does it make you feel?
Does it put you off chocolate?
That's a really good question.
You know,
Didn't
does
put
it
us
put you
chocolate,
off chocolate?
I still think like Augustus Gloop, you've got a chance to still jump in the tank,
Yeah.
wouldn't you?
I was going to ask you because you mentioned like the chocolate factory, and there's some kind of Willy Wonka joke in there somewhere.
Oh,
but
the chocolate factories don't look like Willy Wonka.
no, everyone's like hair nets and beard nets and all that
yeah,
kind of stuff. Yeah,
Snoods.
Yeah.
Out of everything. You may as well just put me in a sack.
yeah. I just cut the
Wear
eyes
short
out or
shirt,
something
like,
like that.
oh, got hairy arms. You want to put this? Put some sleeves on.
Yeah. Aye. I do that in a pharmaceutical place. I put just everything pretty much was covered apart from your eyes, and then you had to put glasses on those things as well.
May as well be
So,
Teen Wolf walking through the door for a
Teen
job
Wolf,
interview.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever go to Cadbury's World when you were like?
I didn't know.
No,
I didn't
we
ever.
went with the schools because I was in the Midlands originally. So apparently it changes. So when my husband, he's 3 years older than me. When they went, all the kids would go in. Every child was given a free chocolate bar as they walked in, and then the teachers were there by the next set of doors, having a big giant bag, taking it all. And then like they probably didn't get as much chocolate back when we went, it wasn't as magical as I thought. They didn't give us as much chocolate. I was expecting Willy Wonka.
I've
Yeah.
done the
Totally.
the chocolate story. I've been to the chocolate story in York. That's
I
pretty
think the chocolate
cool,
story
yeah.
in York.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause you kind of make your own and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You get samples, and it's quite interesting.
You don't
know?
have a scary ride. In Cadbury's World, you have a scary ride you go on.
No.
Like really weird.
Well, like the Wonka
It's
one.
like, it's like a little boat, and there's these little sort of cocoa beans, sort of like these very scary, smiley faces, and you
It's
go
actually,
along.
do you know what it is on
Oh,
that film?
okay.
It's terrifying seeing that with Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
Oh, is that?
Do you know that?
that-
You know the
yeah, yeah.
original?
Yeah.
No,
Was it? What?
Yeah.
What I'm trying to remember what he says again.
How about the word
Where
back
they're
then? though?
always-
You know, the original films were a bit
Flashing
kind of
lights and all that.
scary.
Yeah.
Oh,
Crazy.
is this what's going to happen here later?
Yeah.
Like halfway through, there's just going to
That's
all the
it,
lights
yeah.
are going to go off, and
Yeah.
we're going to
Yeah.
be on a boat.
Me and Dan press a button, this whole set turns around. We turn around with cloaks on and that.
I just turn, the wall flips around like Batman and just turns out like chocolates. You know what I mean? It's like a hidden library door. You know? Yeah. I was just thinking, yeah. Oh, it's mad though, isn't it? But would you get? What's the thing that you would get sick of if you worked in a factory? I think that's it. You know,
I mean, I don't.
you get sick of
We
everything.
get accused, right, of pitching for Greg's. We're not pitching for Greg's, by the way. We don't. We just talk about them because they come in conversation.
Yeah.
But I live next to Greg's factory,
Oh.
and the smell of the bakery you don't get sick of
No.
unless they're making like sweet stuff.
Is that
But the
'cause
smell of
it's-
bread or pastry, savoury
the smell-
pastry, is amazing.
Bread, pastry, coffee, great smells.
I heard on the podcast a few weeks ago you were saying about how when you're trying to sell a house, you should put bread in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I loved your opinion because I was like, if you're selling a house, you're kind of desperate, aren't you? So you put the coffee on, you put the bread
yeah,
in.
it's anything you
I
can
baked
do.
cookies because I was like, make it smell. But then you have to hope they like cookies. So it's like, it's a bit of hit.
Yeah.
But everyone likes
Yeah.
bread, right? Like,
But everyone does. But even if you just have the cookies out, it's the visual thing.
Creating
That's
hope.
but yeah, because you're creating warmth and coziness, and this is a scenario you could actually have. Do you know what I mean? So you're selling an idea and a lifestyle. It's all marketing.
It's a lot of effort, that, like. The Nutridol, open
Hey.
the windows.
is
It's a
there
lot,
anything?
yeah, it's a lot of effort, but we're talking if you a couple of $100 it's worth the effort. Do you know what I mean?
So what's the
Expensive
opposite
loaf, that.
smell? If you're trying to put someone off by
Oh,
that
that's
house,
a
what would
brilliant
you
question.
put? What would you put?
Don't flush
Oh.
the toilet.
No, honestly, I don't know what that is.
Baking though, baking.
I think
Oh,
it's
bacon, all right.
damn.
Damn, that's not baking.
Oh, you're actually about food smell?
Yeah.
Food smells. All right, okay.
that's a
I was
great
thinking
one.
like coffee rings on the tables and that. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
But
Hannah.
Oh
um,
no, you
opened
should
up a
see. You should
completely-
see my house. It's full of.
the worst smells
That's
I
like
don't know, like,
Pandora's box. No, I
off-
have got some.
off milk or something like that.
Off milk's awful.
Oh no.
Yeah, off milk.
No, hold on a minute. We can't move on from this question because there's loads of stuff.
There is, but I'm kind
trying to
of I'm
think.
stumped because no, it's one of those things. You know, when you I know. You put some raw chicken in a bin, leave for 2 days.
Oh.
That's
The
one of
frost.
those. I don't know what the smell is, but there's something not right.
Oh, that is.
No, that's
Do you mean?
gag. That's gag.
that is
territory,
bad.
isn't it?
one.
Yeah.
That is a really bad.
Because
one.
the chicken's always the one that, if you put that raw chicken, if you empty that bin, that's always the one in our house. You know.
Fat. If
Oh.
you've cooked like chips or you've had something in the oven
Mm-hmm.
and it, do you know what I mean? When it gets around the house and you can smell it on your clothes and
Oh, it
it's
smells
awful.
It smells like your nana's
Grease.
kitchen.
Yeah,
smell of
Nana's
grease.
Nana's kitchen,
Yeah.
innit? Yeah.
Yeah.
It smells like your nana's kitchen.
Woodbine.
Yeah.
Make the fried egg with windows closed.
You know what? I'm going to confess something here. I've always said smells like a council house kitchen.
Well, no, I live in the council house.
But the fact
It's
is
like-
that I know, but what I'm referencing to is your nana's kitchen, because I'm
Yeah,
talking about 60 years ago or 40 years
totally.
ago,
People were using fryers.
the
and that,
back door was open, the fry was on all the time, everything was cooking, and there was like always like just a thin layer of smoke somewhere. Do you know what I mean? In the house,
honestly,
it was one of them. So
ever met
that's what I mean by that.
If you ever went to my granddad's house, right? My granddad cooked like everything in deep fat, like, but I mean like even like non-safe, non-oven-proof dishes.
Yeah.
He'd have. So we were talking about this just a few weeks ago. Me and my brother, I think, my mum.
Well, we were talking about dripping, weren't we?
Yeah.
Even dripping on bread after that.
My granddad would get like a Pyrex bowl, right? And he'd put it on the hob,
Just glass,
right?
Glass on the wall.
Right? And he'd just be standing there, right, making potato fritters or something like that. Bit of corned beef, and people would just stand there, windows closed, net curtains on the window, turning yellow and that.
Net curtain.
Right? And you'd be like, Granddad, can I just like open the doors or something? Like, what's the matter, like?
It's my way, like.
Frying.
Yeah.
Like frying everything.
Yeah.
Chucking tea towels in there and that. Just, fries everything. Everything goes into the deep
Everything
fat
goes
fryer.
crispy.
I must admit, I don't use oven gloves. I always use the tea towel, getting trays out ovens and that. It's just one of those
I
kind
prefer
of...
tea towel and oven glove. Oven gloves always get bold patches and you always get burnt.
Yeah.
I think they're too thick and there's no grip.
On
Well, you
that as
can't
well.
get
They're,
grip on it,
they're either too
Can't
thick
get a
or too
grip.
thin.
Yeah,
Totally.
right.
Don't
But
tell me about the silicon ones that you think are going to work.
Oh, do they not work?
Nah. The ones that I've got
no.
don't. Look like emu's mouth.
Are they like
Well,
Well, that's part of the
Like
fun. That's why you buy it.
Does it look like a fencer's mitt?
Fences, mate.
Do you know what I mean? It's like a meshy glove.
Totally.
Isn't it?
Just
It's like a
like
fencer's mitt.
useless.
But that's why you buy it though, because they're cute. Like,
They
you know,
are cute,
they do
yeah.
look cute.
When I
Like
take
just
some
sitting there
of
with
the
that,
oven-
put some
Yeah,
eyes
just
on it.
say,
Put some googly eyes on
Does
it.
anybody else do
Full
the
of big
same?
googles for eyes.
That's a great idea.
They-
I'll put some googly eyes on them.
Don't you remember the advert? There
Kitchen
was
Muppet.
which advert was it? And they did all these different oven gloves doing a song together. I think it might have been M&S Christmas.
Oh, hold on a minute. Yes, I remember
Do you remember
this.
that?
Yes, I did.
It
Yeah.
made me so happy.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh,
Yeah, I love that. You
it's
just.
adorable.
Well, lots of
I just got stuck in my head. Kitchen Muppet. That's going to stick in my head. That now.
Oh, we've
Muppet.
got to do that.
Well, that could be a band name. Kitchen Muppets.
Kitchen
though.
Muppets.
Kitchen Muppets could be a
Muppets.
band name.
Muppets.
Came right out on the list.
Yeah.
Kitchen Muppets.
Kitchen
right?
Muppets.
Yeah,
Get a mop.
the Kitchen Muppets.
Muppets. You know the
Muppet.
mop
Kitchen
head?
Muppet.
Muppet.
Yeah. It's, there used to be a thing. Yeah. Which- yeah.
I'm going to make an animated series from your illustrations.
Oh
The
my
Kitchen
goodness.
Muppets.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
yeah.
it.
We've
We can just do
created,
it behind the sofa like that.
this is we've created a new kids book here. I mean,
I've even brought one. I
You
should
just doing the
you think this was set up? You think we wrote this so you just didn't know what that was? I just thought you brought a foam pencil with you for some reason. You
We
know?
have to confirm this podcast is totally unscripted.
It's
It's
totally. That's what
unscripted.
terrified me. That terrified
Oh,
me. You're
really?
like,
Did
you're
it?
like, oh, don't worry, it's just a chilled conversation. I'm like, a chilled conversation. I'm going on a podcast.
No, we've had people on here.
we'd
We'll
have
be
a-
talking for half an hour and they'll go, when we starting? We like, oh, we started 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, you start when you walk. Yeah, when you walked in the room, signed the wall. We started, you know. So that's kind of where we are.
See, that's the best
know.
way because it's just that's just gets the best out of people, isn't it? You're just chilled. And...
Yeah, the thing is, sometimes you got a question in your head because it's like, but we don't want to. You don't want to get like formulaic, and nobody wants to hear a boring conversation about anything, you know.
No.
So just see where it goes, and I mean, we've got 3 creative minds sitting on a couch, so this can go anywhere.
Oh, watch
This
out.
could really go anywhere. So yeah.
But the sound formulaic. Hannah,
When did you
going
start?
back to your drawing days.
When did you first?
When did you make
When
that?
did you first
When
pick up
did
a
you make
pencil?
that?
Hannah?
Yeah, when
Do
did you
know
pick
what
up
I
a
mean?
pencil, Hannah?
Why
When
do
did you make
posh
that
voices on me,
transition?
though, right? Yeah. Is that a posh voice? Is that a posh voice question? You know, you go.
Have you just called out posh voice
So
again?
Hannah, when did you pick up the
so
first
Hannah,
pencil? Do you know what I mean?
um,
Chris
Yeah.
has this. Every time I've been listening, you have Chris is like,
Oh,
right. It's really funny.
Right, okay, let's pull this back.
That's just their telephone voice. You know, yeah, poshes
Yeah,
it
it's
up.
your telephone voice.
The telephone.
Yeah.
Butters it up. I said butters it up when you called us out
I've got
because I
offence to
whispered
that.
it. I
Still
know.
talk about it
I
all.
know. I'm sorry. Do you really?
That's a sore point.
Really?
Aye.
Yeah. Got that dartball with my
look
picture
at-
on it in the house.
This is mine, not yours, remember? That's mine.
I'm from heaven.
It did say the posh bit, like
Yeah. What's that? Is that just the
the opposite side of Hedgie Road.
That's just a semi-detached house, isn't it? The posh bit.
It was.
Is that what,
Aye.
is that what that is?
It was actually, I lived around the corner from the Kelly pub which was on Heaven, the series with Chris Ramsey,
Okay.
which they called Swayze's instead.
Shout out to Chris Ramsey if you ever want
Right.
to come on, Chris.
I'm from Heaven.
Oh, I'm on,
I
Chris.
used to drink in the Kelly, which was Swayze's.
Yeah. And we'll do the Heben Globetrotters vest just for you if you want to buy one. So yeah,
We're doing that, by the way.
we have to. We just mentioned something in a WhatsApp group, Hannah, and it was a faux pas of words. So it was like the Harlem Globetrotters. I was like, the Heben Globetrotters. So anyway, 2 minutes later, we've kind of figured out a kind of nice
Sports
creative, a nice creative AI sports kit, and the vest looked great. So it's one of those like, you're utilising stuff. Should we talk about AI as well? Because I think it's a nice, interesting conversation.
I think you should.
Where does the
Especially as a
rules
creative person.
of a creative?
Oh no! Don't ask me this. This is all getting very political.
Well, it's massive. It's massive,
The
isn't
thing
it?
is, it's not. It's a tool to use if you need to go. Actually, I'm thinking about something, and I don't know how to. I want some ideas. I just want to float them out
We
there.
talked about this recently, didn't we?
But your idea is creative, so therefore it is
Yeah.
your input into something, spitting it out in your mind. But it saves you the task of kind of coming up with that visual idea as a reference point to use as like a pitch deck or something like that.
And the moral thing, right?
Yes.
And it came up when we talked to Frankie Francis
Frankie
and Marty
Francis,
Longstaff,
yeah.
the Music City guys,
Yeah.
and we kind of asked the question, the moral thing: does AI enable some people that have otherwise not got the tools?
Yeah.
You know what?
Because
If
it could help people.
I don't know which side of the fence I'm on.
So I'm kind of like, everyone's going to be split, isn't it? Because there's going to be some people have skill sets and some people don't have those skill sets and want those skill sets. And my husband, luckily, because I've got a husband who's ridiculously amazing at writing. If I write an email to someone or anything, I always get him to check it. If I didn't have him, would I have to use AI? That's it. It's because I write it and I read it and I think that makes perfect sense. And then he'll go. You see him reading it, you can see him flinch. I'm like, is it that bad? He's like, it'd be nice to start with being like, have you had a nice day? You know what I mean?
Hold
Like
on.
that.
Are you a
talker.
straight into the ass?
I am. And then afterwards I put, sorry, did you have a nice day? Afterwards. So I'm like,
No messing about. We're going halfway into the conversation. Let's get going here.
Dana sent me a WhatsApp message at 5 o'clock in the morning saying, have you sorted that thing out yet?
I totally respect that. I think that's
But in my head, I've already had the other part of the
morning,
conversation.
That's me, that is me, honestly. I'll be talking with my friends, they're like, where did that come from? I'm like, that makes total sense in my head. We were talking about this, which then led into that, and then now I'm speaking about it.
Yeah, there should be just an automatic, when you save your signature on an email, there should be an automatic. When I type something in, it should go, good day to you, sir. Do you know what I mean? At the top, and then you're off and running, something polite, just to start the conversation up, and then I'll just write what I'm actually thinking. Do you know what I mean? 'Cause
And then there's also this whole thing of etiquette as well. Like I've started leaving voice notes because then you don't misunderstand the tone. Exactly.
You're right, completely.
And I sometimes it sounds abrupt, but if you heard me say it, it would not sound abrupt. You know what I mean? And
You see, I've had the opposite problem because I usually type very, very politely.
oh,
And then I think I actually might have sent a voice note to you guys yesterday, and it was in a really sort of like I was in a foul mood.
Yeah, but your abruptly is nothing compared to my happy-go-lucky is worse than his abruptly. Do you know what I mean? So it's really hard to get that tone across. You're completely right on it. I prefer having a face-to-face conversation, and if it's about something serious, you have to do it. Why? Because it's intent. What is the intention? And you can hear in the voice. And you go up and you go down, you go left, you go right, and then it saves all the faffing about and the ums and the ahs,
I find it's interesting because I think I'm in the generation where people find speaking to each other very terrifying, and I'm like, and you have to ask permission. You have to sometimes text permission to talk to people. Sometimes you find that and you're like, oh, I have to make an appointment. Whereas for me, I'm like, I'll ring them or ring me, and if I don't feel like answer, I just wait. It's interesting.
Hannah, do you have a professional and a personal kind of different personality and approaches to things? Because I approach completely different things personally to business side. I will do all of the over-the-top kind of niceties with the business side. Yeah. Because you're always going, I don't know who this is going to be for, and so I have to be over and above that kind of thing.
I think.
But personally, you just go, I'll go straight for the jugular because that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm trying to imagine what Dad's barbecue. You invite me to a barbecue recently. Would you just go, here, burger, eat it?
No, I wouldn't. What? I would just go, what you after? What do you want?
Do you want cheese or not?
Yeah. That's if you didn't tell us straight away. I'd be like, come on, man. I've already asked you once. You know what I mean? I'm kind of like, I'm impatient with that as well. But...
I see this is, so I'm not, I find, I think as I've been growing in what I do, I feel like I've had to learn to put on different hats to talk to different people because other people won't be able to cope with.
Yes.
Like, I once left a voice note with someone and I think they just didn't reply because they were terrified because they're like, oh my goodness, this is too intense. So I've learnt that some people are like, oh, and yours sincerely, best wishes, and I hope you are well. Please reply at your earliest convenience. Whereas I think I love the fact that now I'm working with people that I can. I mean, that's the joy of this job, is that you can get away with being quite like just friendly and talkative. I don't know why. I mean, maybe there is a reason, but why do you have to have so much formality in certain things? I'm like, is it because they've always done this and that's inappropriate?
There's a professionalism, because we saw an email yesterday came in, and that email was ridiculously unprofessional, and it has to be. Imagine you're talking to somebody for the first time.
Yes.
Well, you're asking something from the person you're emailing, so you have to go, I'm asking you, and I really want to talk to you and get to the next level. So you have to really kind of just baby step that and be over explanation, over polite and all this kind of stuff. But that's how you should open something with until you get to know the person. Then you can kind of cut this down to one word, one sentence, all this kind of stuff.
There is an element, isn't there, where sometimes if you try and push that, you're sort of being assumptuous that you're like, if I push that, I'm best mate, or like do that sort of thing. That's actually, no, you're not asking permission. You're pushing your own agenda by being manipulative. That's a bit of manipulation, isn't it? I think there is a place for that, but there is also, I think, a balance from coming as like from a nursing point of view. There's a difference between professionality and having a personality with that, and not, because I think, and especially experiencing, my little boy was born very early and was very poorly, and there's those ones that are professional to the point that they don't really care. They care enough because that's their job.
More clinical. Yeah,
and as a nurse, I think you can be professional and have a personality.
You've opened up a really big conversation, because my partner's a nurse. She's been a nurse since she was 18.
Oh, wow.
And it's that whole, because it's a big debate at the minute, isn't it? The whole crisis in nursing and getting the right people in, and how everything's gone away from practicality and about personal touch into academic, right? So you've got nurses that come through academic routes only, and then go into the practical side of nursing, and there's a big mismatch.
Yes,
because nursing is caring, isn't it?
Care, but
right. And if you come in with I've heard stories of people who aren't willing to do certain things on a ward because that's not what they got taught when they were doing their degree. And then you've got people that have come through the vocational route, who nursing was part of their DNA because they wanted to care for people.
Learning on the job is the only way to do the job properly.
I think.
Because
what was your route, Hannah? How did
experience, doesn't it?
So I am going to do the thing. Hannah the scribbler.
Yeah.
But not the actual artist.
Yeah.
Hannah the nurse to Hannah the storyteller, illustrator. How did that happen? And like, because I want to know how. I'm interested in your nursing pathway.
Yeah.
How that happened. Between those things.
So I as you know, I was really behind at school, but then I had an amazing teacher who was like, this girl ain't daft, she's actually just dyslexic. I was actually stopped to take exams because I would bring the school grades down in primary school. They didn't let me do the SATs because I'd bring the actual grades down. And then this lady started from the age of 14, started the alphabet again. And then I was able to, my reading level went up by 7 years within a year. And then I had to catch up a lot. And then I wanted to be a doctor, but they were like, nurse. Because it's only because I wanted to care for people. And I did have a passion for that. That's a great thing actually with being a nurse. You value people and you want people to feel valued at a very vulnerable time.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. So I did my diploma in Derby University.
Okay.
And that was character building. So yeah, like you were saying about them being hands-on, part of, and I think it's still I don't know, actually, I'm not brushed up, but I think it is still now, where you have to have a certain amount of hours in practice as you do. And in the olden days, you used to get a bursary.
Yes.
As well, and that was incredible. So you only needed GCSEs, and I got an unconditional place, and then all you need, that's all you needed. And definitely character building. It was hard being a student, actually, and I feel that's another reason why I feel it's really important to make people feel valued, no matter if you're a patient or a student or a colleague. You need to, if you care for people, you should care for everyone, not just the patients that you're paid to look after. It's about looking after even the student that's only going to be there 6 weeks, because there's nothing more lonely than being a student.
Yeah.
In a place.
It's a very holistic role, though, isn't it? It's about empathy and compassion and care.
Yeah.
And I think that in the last couple of decades, I don't think people are losing that, but I think the approach that I think we're taking as a country, or as an industry or a sector or whatever, look at the NHS, is very similar to what, like, all the stuff that's happening around politicians at the minute. But they're in order to get their best caliber people, they're putting salaries up, and 20 years ago, it was about kind of moral leadership, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You could be a politician 20 years ago if you came from a housing estate. There's an opportunity, because if you cared and you had drive, you cared about people and community, it was values based, where now it's about achievement and did you get the grades? And I think it's failing to filter people the right way.
I also think there's an element that nurses are being asked to do a lot more than they were. So they're actually having, I mean, you'll know this more than anyone, actually, because they're being asked to do things that in the past, and I think it's great, because it's actually, like, a lot of my friends who are still nursing, they love the fact that they get more responsibility, and they love the fact that they can study and prescribe and all this stuff. Whereas that wasn't my skill set. I wasn't academic. I learned what I had to learn, but for me, it was about being on the ground and caring for those people. I didn't want, that sort of thing. But there is more and more pressure on nurses to do more with less resources. I won't go on about how it got tricky, but I do remember it did make me. It was amazing to be, especially after my student nursing, which was exhausting. When I had my first job at the hospital in Newcastle, in ENT outpatients, and what a team! It was just like, it was the best thing ever. We had an emergency ear, nose and throat, so we had like people with non-stopping nosebleeds, dizzy people. They're the best, because they're honestly,
are the best.
They're the best. I mean, it's not, I shouldn't be, it's really hard, because dizziness can be crippling and it's awful, but the clinic is so incredible, because the doctor that runs it has to take such a holistic view on those patients and try and work out what type of dizziness it is, and sort of try and treat it. And there's some that you can actually cure in one go, and it's incredible to see. So you got to see amazing things. But yeah.
Wow. So I could talk about nursing for a long time, but so that the scribbler, the nurse.
Not quite yet scribbler.
So where did this leap towards where you are now? Where did that happen?
So, because it was a long commute. I got married, and it was a long commute from Sunderland to Newcastle, and I was like, I'm not going to waste this time. I'm going to write. So I was initially a writer. I loved writing. I loved writing stories. So initially, I scribbled all the time, and every day I would write. And I can't write a coherent. Can't even say a coherent sentence. I can't write a coherent paragraph, but I can write in rhyme perfectly. So I wrote a story poem, every day on the way to work, and read it out to my colleagues, and they would be like, "Oh, this is hilarious!" And one of the doctors made me print them out and sign it. It was hilarious, and they were just so supportive and lovely. And then on the way back, I'd illustrate it, because I'm quite quick in the way my brain processes these things.
Did you do any of your illustrations? Blows my mind how quick you are.
Yeah. Did you do any of this with your patients as well? Did you kind of? Did you get a chance to test them out with patience and
because
things?
it wasn't. I didn't feel it was appropriate
Yeah.
because I was there to be their nurse, and one of the things I would always say as I came out, I would always say hi. I got told off for shaking hands because you're not supposed to, but I wanted that. So and I was like, hi, I'm Hannah. I am your nurse today. If you need anything, always feel you can ask. And they really appreciate. That's what I loved about our team. They appreciated the extra touch, and that's where I grew. I think because they saw that as a good thing, and I loved making people, like, if there was a long wait, we could be waiting for an hour and a half, and you were the emotional punch bag, and you'd be like, on the house you can have a glass of water, just making just making jokes. You have a good rapport with the people you're with.
For me, I just think, if you give people a little bit of room to bring their personality out, this could actually help people.
Yeah.
And if you see that as a manager, go, actually, Hannah, that'd be great. Feel free if you want to interject, your little, your scribbles or your words, just to kind of help the situation out. And I think just seeing that in somebody's personality, you should really lean into that kind of thing, because I think that's what would make a difference than everyone being, I can't do this because it's not professional. I think you have to, there's a little bit of bending the rules a touch.
We're not good at that, though, I don't think, in this country.
Yeah, but we're not allowed to do that, because
it goes
the
back,
powers
you
that be
mentioned
won't
your
let
science
you,
teacher. Like, it was quite rare, because I was very similar to you, right? I was a doodler, I'd get distracted. I fell behind at school, I struggled with stuff, and I'd love just to get, jokey.
Yeah.
That was my nickname, 'cause I trouble all the time, right? But rather than have somebody grab you and go, that's great, you need to press on with that.
Yeah.
You always had somebody who'd say, stop getting distracted.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Stop getting distracted, rather than say, well, that's a thing that we could use.
Yeah.
Like, even in the hospital, it could have been like, that's really powerful.
Yeah.
You're telling people stories on this ward. It could have been a really, really evocative thing, couldn't it? But we're always encouraged to think it's a distraction.
But you're allowed to do dance on TikTok during COVID, though. What's all that about? Man. Well, it's mad, isn't it? We set aside these rules, and this is acceptable. Why?
I was watching people on nursing wards recently doing the Kendrick Lamar dance and all that.
It's not there.
I'm a big one for loving to sort of, like, sometimes I'm like, oh, right, that's why that barrier's there. But I like to sometimes question myself, why have we made that rule? Like, why?
I do that all the time. This is every day of my life. Why is this happening?
But you'll be searching forever, won't you? Because I'm like that. People think you're a troublemaker, and it's not. You're challenging convention.
That's it.
It's, you were talking about professionalism before. When did it happen that everything we do, like even to the way we dress, like especially in the UK, where I've worked for banks, I've worked for the government, and I used to get into trouble because once I was comfortable, I'd be like, a suit's coming off, like I'm coming in jeans next week. And I'd be like, what's the difference, guys?
Yeah.
You're still getting me. You're still getting my brain, my experience, but you want me to come in a suit. You want me to arrive looking like all of you. And I remember doing some work once in South Africa, and I went to South Africa in January. Right now, if you've ever been to South Africa,
I have. Right? I love it.
It's incredible.
Amazing.
It's 36 degrees in January, right?
3-piece suit.
And it was just the story of my life. I had a suit on,
Nice
right?
and woolly.
I had this, the worst thing ever, because I was with my boss, and I was thinking, right, how would Chris Jewett, the real version, play this if he was alone? I was like, well, I wouldn't be doing this.
No.
But I went with a mask on, and I thought, right, I'll just play up to this. So I went to this meeting, right, in Cape Town with a grey suit on. Grey suit, 36 degrees.
Man.
Right? Sweat rings were joining in the middle, you know what I mean?
That surely is not a good...
And I walked in, right? My boss as well, he had and I walked to this meeting, and this guy sitting there, polo shirt and khaki shorts, a pair of flip-flops. I'm not even trying to do a South African accent. He's like, what are you guys doing? Yeah. He was like the CEO of this big fruit company, sitting in a pair of shorts. And I thought, I like a bit of this.
Bit of common sense. Yeah.
But he lives there.
He lives there.
You bring in that.
Adapt. You adapt. Yeah. You've got to adapt.
But you bring in that, we've got to wear a suit because we're professional at this certain level.
But then I tipped it the other way the next day. I had these.
Bermudas.
Oh, man. Honestly, what I was thinking. So, story of my life.
Top on
honestly,
Bermuda shore.
It was the story of my life. Carry out, man. Carry a bag.
Blue bag.
I turned up at this meeting and I thought, I got that wrong yesterday. tomorrow's meeting, I'll get it right. So rather than be moderate and sort of go in the middle, I went the complete opposite. So I went to this meeting in I had a pair of combat trousers, right? Green, this colour. But they weren't like these. They were like parachute material.
Oh,
baggy.
Oh, yeah.
That's
They were baggy with like
Chris is coming up the corridor.
elastic things
Oh,
at the bottom
wow.
that tighten them up. I wore a pair of them, right? A t-shirt. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Not like Birkenstocks or smart flip-flops. I wore a pair of camo green cheap flip-flops.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Flip-flop.
And I was turned up for breakfast. My boss was like, right, so we've got a meeting in a factory today. Air conditioning everywhere.
You
Like,
serious?
so I went to this factory. Everybody's wearing suits. They're wearing parachute trousers and a pair of flip-flops. And I could see my boss every couple of minutes looking at my feet like that and going... And I'm trying to hide them in that. I was like, oh, God.
Hide your feet. How'd you do?
I think I wore my suit today. Honestly,
Curling your toes in.
I was curling my toes in, like sort of sitting, like moving around, and I thought,
Standing on one
why
foot.
can't I get this right?
Still like a flamingo.
Shocking, honestly. Like talking about polarized decision making.
Yeah.
Couldn't have just went, all right, okay,
I love it.
I'll wear a pair of just chinos or something and a t-shirt, parachute trousers and flip
Oh, I
flops.
love it.
Honestly.
I thought you were
And
going to
that's why I
say.
get anxiety now. You know, when you go like big event nerves. I'm going to a dinner. I'm going to go to
See,
a
no,
wedding.
but
What am I
you
going to wear?
No, that's so good. So that's
It is.
exactly what makes someone like incredible as a character. Like you would be remembered out of all those other people for being the fun
you
guy.
gotta double down on it,
Like,
yeah.
you know,
That bloke with a more haircut on in the summer.
I thought, here's Chris coming down, right? Picture this one, honey. You've got this, right? I'm gonna go, right? He's got Bermuda shorts on, Sunderland top, bucket hat, and sambas.
oh, I love it.
He's got like a festival in the
Mate,
90s.
if only some of my stories were anywhere near as cool as that.
Oh,
What do you call it?
coming
What
down
do you
in
call it? Will?
sambas.
The fashion malfunctions that I've had
Fashion
in my life.
malfunctions. It's great,
fashion
isn't it?
parts.
Oh man,
Shopping,
Look, I
tartan
mean-
trousers, cork heels, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, as a teenager, I've had a denim waistcoat with a fur line. And I've had all sorts, man. You know, when you think you start listening to the Doors in the 60s and you start like, everything's sheepskin and that. That's what you start listening to that.
I had a
The
girlfriend,
sheepskin
right,
era.
who's actually I had a girlfriend when I was 15 and she passed away recently, really sadly. She's really young, but she was into Bon Jovi, right? And she loved hairy chests.
Oh, no way, no way.
Honestly, I got a photograph of me, right, wearing my brother's leather waistcoat with no top underneath in my bedroom there.
They used to, I remember the leather waistcoats, but it had a paisley back. It was like a paisley.
Like a bit of paisley, like
was
paisley
it.
insert. Just flashing
What
there.
about bandanas?
And
I had many bandanas.
I always wanted a bandana, but I can never do it up because my
always
hair gets
falls
in the
off.
way. You know, because then when you try and do the knot, your hair
Yeah.
gets stuck and you do that and you're like,
Yeah.
and you can't take it off because your hair will get ripped out.
I tell you what it is, and now we make fun of like the youngins that they just pull the white socks up. We used to be wearing bandanas and vests,
Yeah.
and we're making fun of pulled up white Nike socks.
Honestly,
like
we
what
were.
you've got them up for.
A friend, I was saying to a friend recently, saying, God, it's like, I was on the metro recently and there's Chavas everywhere, like bullying people and everything. I went, there was not Chavas around in our time. And he went, Chris, we were the Chavas.
Really? You were the
Remember the trespass jackets and that? And
Naff. Yeah,
kick-ass shoes.
yeah. Aye.
Everybody looking the same, all your mates.
Yeah, but
Swapping jackets and coats and
Yeah,
jumpers.
but they do now. They wear them black puffers and
The
then
sweater shop.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Fruit of the loom. That's mad, isn't it? But yeah.
So, scribbling.
So scribbling.
Right. So what I'm really interested in,
Back
right,
in the room,
is
Hannah.
your scribbling, because I love the source of people's creativity, right?
Uh-huh.
That did sound scripted, right? But what seems to happen with you when you've talked about every time that you started going off on one is just when you said when you were at school, sitting in a lesson,
Yeah.
or when you were commuting on a bus, and were you just doing it? And did it feel like a thing, or was it just distraction again?
It was well, a lot of it on the way to work would be like, oh, I've got this. Like, on my walk to the metro, I would think about, oh, what's the story going to be this time? And then when I was on it, I'd be like, right, churning it out, like in scribbles, and then I'd get there, read it to the people. So that was literally it initially, and then it was only when I actually started doing it for other people properly. I mean, I printed it out and stuff and then gave it to like my colleagues. I mean, the doctors, the nurses, the speech and language therapists, the audiologists, the receptionists, the secretaries. We were all a great big team. They all were like, what's the poem today, Hannah? You know what I mean? They were all like, they're like, oh, and they appreciated it, and they appreciated me as a nurse, but they also appreciated me as a person. And they were always just so encouraging in that way. So then I then moved to Sunderland because it was just too much of a commute. I didn't have any social life, like, because I was like, I was getting there and then I had to come back and then it was the weekend and then you go back, and just so came to Sunderland and then ended up missing it so much I did bank work back there a few days a week and worked for Age UK a little bit as well, which was a different thing to do. But then I got pregnant, which was very exciting. But then my little boy was born very early. We had an awful pregnancy, and then he was born 3 months early.
Oh, okay.
And dealing with those emotions, I carried on writing because it was just a way of self-expression, a way of knowing what my thoughts would do. Like when you have all the thoughts, you'll find this when you soundboard. Like if you have all these fast thoughts in your head, if you put them down, you can look at them and you can analyze them. And that's what I did. And then after he was born, during, when I was in hospital for like 3 weeks before he was born. I used to write poems for different staff members that were amazing because I really appreciated it because I was on the other side and being the patient, and how being a patient actually would probably change the type of nurse you would be because you go, oh, that's what it's like. It was a way I said thank you to people. It was a way that I dealt with things. It was a way that I encouraged other people in the so they called us the party bay. There was 3 of us other mums who were pregnant, and we were there for a long time. So for up to 3 weeks. So some of them were going to be longer, and we ended up having like little parties. We had balloons. I mean, we weren't allowed off the ward because we all had preeclampsia, but we snuck off and got to the subway. Because the food was good actually.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. They treat pregnant women well. It was really good. It was really good. And I got a menu, and I could have like the equivalent of Nando's of hospital food. And my friend, they presumed she's Sri Lankan, but they presumed she was a Muslim, so she got a halal menu. So we're all crowded around her menu, going, "Oh, yours looks way more exciting!" Like she had they had like sort of curries and menus that we didn't have. She was like, "Well, I'm not. I don't eat halal, but I'll pretend I do."
Because it's a better menu. Yeah. Do a menu
didn't
swap,
turn out
it?
as good actually in the end because it was all microwaved. Hers, so ours was more fresh. But yeah, so
imagine like a little black market into trading of menus in the hospital.
I know. Yeah, well, there was a little bit like
you Nando's chicken.
That's what we did. We did that. Well, we got a sheet every day, so I got a bit institutionalized. So we got our menu every day. A bit. We'll all be sort of after our observations and stuff. We'll be like, oh, well, just looking at the menu. I'm not sure if I feel like. I was like, yes, it's a Wednesday. It means if it's on a Wednesday, we can have whatever's on a Wednesday.
That should be like one of the trading floors and that. So when you're shouting the prices and that, and the different things that are on, a bidding war.
It's like a fish market.
Like a fish market.
Fish market. It's like fish and chip Fridays and stuff like that.
It was like that. And then on one day it was my friend's 30th birthday, so I wrote on the menu, I was like, it's my friend's birthday, please can we have cake? And they've sent us up cake.
Oh,
you don't ask.
So it was really nice. And it was so anyway, so scribbling, sorry, going on. But yeah, and then he was born early, and basically we had 3 months in hospital with Peter, because he was born 3 months early, so you have to they usually have to stay until their term.
Yeah.
So I'd have one hand in the incubator holding him, and I'd have one hand sitting on the sofa or the chair. If you were in early, you got the good chair.
Yeah.
Get in early, and I would just draw, and I'd actually thank the nurses. So I drew, and that's when I started drawing more. Was when I was drawing the nurses. And the nurses were so like, oh my gosh, I love it. And I never used watercolour, it was just pen and paper. And they were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I was like, oh, well, if it's that easy to make you happy, like, I'm so grateful. You're my angels looking after my child. So that's where it started, really.
It seems to come so natural, though. And when I watch you work, that's why I'm asking all the questions, because it's quite intriguing to see somebody as creative as you are. It doesn't seem forced at all. It seems to be coming from somewhere else.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
everyone's always
No.
intrigued what's the process, but for me, it sounds like the story comes first.
Yeah.
Story's already in your head.
So in my head, it's capturing a moment. It's like, what? So, like, for example, we're at the Street Food Fest. Let me get it right. British Street Food Festival.
Yes.
And when I go to do a picture, I just feel, I feel the energy in the place. I feel happiness. I feel the people. And actually, for me, it's people. When people say, what do you like to draw? I like drawing people because they have a story to tell. And I always start with the eyes. And where the eyes are is the direction of where they're looking. Because actually, that's where, like, lots of illustrators, they'll start with the shape of the face first and they'll draw the eyes in afterwards. Whereas I always start with the eyes because I feel that's where...
Well, actually, you did that with us on the judge's portrait that you did.
Yeah,
And I did notice that because it catches the dynamic of what's going on around the table. And because Adam Riley picked it up, Adam from Riley's Fish Shack, who had the cap on.
Oh, yeah.
Because Adam was like, where am I? And he went, oh, that's me looking down at the table. And I think Si was looking across, I was looking at the food, like down. And like you could see, even that told its own story. Because
Everyone's not just looking
the
up.
eyes were the answer to everything.
Yeah.
Everyone wasn't just looking at the same place or looking at each other.
Yeah.
There was different things going on. They were engaging in that situation in different ways. And it was the eyes that were telling that story.
Yeah.
Really, really clever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of. Tom Stoddard, a photographer, told us once. He says, "With the eyes are the window to the soul,"
Yeah.
and he always used that, and he always used like fixed lenses, so it forced you to go into the situation, not stand back from the situation. So he would go into it and step forward to the person, therefore brings you closer to that person.
Yeah.
So you have more of a relationship with that person, and then get closer to the eyes, which is the window to the soul.
Yeah, no, that I think that's it, and I think that's why I think relationship. I don't know. It's just from the nursing side, everyone has a story to tell, and everyone needs to feel valued, and that was part of my job as a nurse. That person needs to feel valued, and they are valued. They have everyone has a treasure inside of them, and some people look past, they just walk past, and actually this person, like, it doesn't take 2 seconds to make someone feel loved and valued, you know what I mean? And then that comes with the pictures. A lot of the time I draw people, especially if they say, oh no, don't draw me, I'm like, why do you say that? Why do you not want to be drawn? And they're like, I don't like photos of me. And I'm like, maybe you see yourself differently. So I'll say, I'm going to draw you anyway. And I'll draw them again, and they're like, that looks like me. And I'm like, yeah, that looks like you. And they're like, no. And then this nana happened to have an autistic 30-year-old with her. And I had to draw her because she was just incredible lady. And she said to her autistic son, does that look like me? And he's like, yes. It's like, and she believed him because he was honest.
Yeah.
And she's like, I look like that. And I think especially when we look at a photo, we see all the back. A photo doesn't really capture us, really.
It doesn't. No.
It doesn't.
No. That's why when you give me that portrait, I was like, that's the first time I've been happy with one of my pictures for a long, long time.
Interpretation
So
of who's
situational,
somebody
and
seeing you.
honest,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's it. Yeah, because you look at
yeah.
yourself in the mirror every day and just pick up the faults that you hate.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, and it's not true, because actually when someone sees you, they don't see all the little bits that you've insecure about. They see they ignore all that bit actually. So it's not a true representation.
Well, because you're carrying all the years worth of your life and those perceptions of yourself in your image in the mirror, aren't you?
Yeah. No.
If I had £1 for every time somebody said I don't like my picture taken, every time I walk into a room, honestly, that's the first thing that somebody says every single time. Even when you pay to be there. By the way, I hate having my photograph taken. And you're like, well, that's the start. That's every start of every kind of portrait session.
Yeah.
But it's just, you've got to win that person over and make them feel comfortable But by doing that, you can show them the results straight away, and it kind of puts them at ease. So
Yeah,
I'm
no,
guessing
that's
it's the same with
exactly it.
yourself.
And
you
if they
know?
look happy as well, because you capture again, you're capturing the energy. If you just take a random picture, that's just a random picture. When you tells a story, and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
That is capturing the moment.
But it's seeing them in that context of the space of where they are now. That's all you're doing. You're just telling that story in that moment. That's all you can do.
Yeah,
You're not making anything up. I'm not creating something from nothing.
Yeah, the good thing about drawing, actually, what's fun is if you've got a big event happening, there's no way you can capture that in one shot. You can sneak things in, so you can like pretend that they're all in the same.
Yeah.
So that's one cool.
Can I ask you a question as well? Did the style come naturally to you? Because that's one thing I can't ever say. I used to be very good at drawing, but good at copying stuff. And when I went off script, I didn't really have a style.
Yeah.
And you've got a very clear style.
So there's two types of drawing. I've learned more because I was interested in what. So there's people that can draw very much what they see. They can draw, and it's like, draw what you see, not what you think you see. You know, that sort of thing. It's quite a hard thing to skill to do. I find that actually quite hard. And then there's the other side, which is the imagination muscle. So actually the best artists is when they recognise they do the bit that they don't like, which is usually the bit they're not as good at. So for me, observational drawing, I really don't enjoy that much. But it's a good thing to do because it adds on to your creative side. Yeah. When I say my style, I probably don't have many other styles compared to my style. So I remember being in art at school as a 12-year-old, and I didn't like any of the art things they asked us to do because it didn't tell a story. It wasn't me. It was an illustration. And the teacher said, right, today we're going to draw our worst nightmare. And I was like, yes, I can draw that.
Yeah.
So I draw this big BI with like razor sharp hands with a lizard's tail. I used a blunt pencil.
Yeah.
And she came around and said, Hannah, that's really scruffy. And I was like, don't like art anyway. And I was like, fine. I enjoyed that, and so if that's not what I'm supposed to be doing,
but that's really important. This has come up on nearly all the podcasts, and we had John on as well. Yeah. It just shows, and I'm not trying to throw teachers under the bus, but those little inflection points, those crossroads, when one person says one thing like that, is a sliding doors moment for somebody. Because they can just go, pencil down. I'm not going to do that anymore. Actually, the scruffy could have been a constructive comment about your style, about how interesting it was.
Because my style is scruffy. It's thought out. So my friends told me off for saying scruffy. It is scruffy, but it is thought out scruffy.
But the fact is, it's your style.
Yeah.
You should not have any input on someone's style. The input should be, I'll tell you what, should you try this? Like add in, just suggest. Do not tell somebody how they should do something.
Yeah, I mean, I've been working with I've been working through Sunderland Culture. I did a few after school clubs, and oh my goodness, it was the most easiest, wonderful thing I've ever done. Imagine these 15 children, and they want to draw, and they are excited about drawing, and you get them onto a thing like, right, today we're going to go and draw like your best buddy on an adventure. This is what we're doing. And they all start simultaneously singing Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, and you just go with it, and you're like, and you sing with them because they're happy, and you allow them to be happy, to let that creativeness flow. Because I think as well, you have lots of, you're not relaxed.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to draw when you're not relaxed?
Yeah.
And the battle I had with them mainly was saying, they're like, oh no, I've ruined it, and I'm like, you haven't ruined it. Keep going. I always say, even now as an adult, as I'm drawing, I'm like, oh no, it's going to be awful, it's going to be horrendous. But once you finish, you go, oh, actually, it wasn't that bad. And it's about persevering, and you can be your worst enemy.
But that really hits a raw nerve for me, that, because it just reminded all those experiences at school. I had a teacher who, like, even if you were drawing and you made the wrong mark on the page, I used to get nervous to the point where you have all the rubbing out marks on it. And you'd spoilt that sheet of paper. I'd be so nervous about it, I'd scrumple the paper up and try and find another piece of paper to start again so the teacher didn't see. Whereas I just wanted to go wild on the page. But I was conscious about perfection and precision and
perfection. That's it.
Yeah, you're not meant to be drawing that. You're meant to be drawing it like this.
Yeah.
And I remember having conversations with art lecturers, and I guess I was probably a little bit of an arsehole. You know, I was 17, 18 years old.
Oh, they all are, though.
And I couldn't get my head around because I was sitting doing fine art and I couldn't marry the two worlds of we're revering all these artists, right? Abstract artists, you get, Jackson Pollock or something like that, right? We'll be learning about them in art history. But they've been, is this a word? Because they've been synthesized through academia, they were brought into convention, so they were conventional. And I was thinking, well, hold on a minute. These guys probably took the same approach we're taking and rejected convention. And now you're getting us to be conventional about the non-conventional.
That's exactly it.
So I couldn't make the two worlds. I left our college for that reason. Because I was like, I don't think I fit here. It doesn't work because I just want to do my own thing.
You felt stifled.
Stifled?
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah. I quit my A-level art because we did watercolour. I hated watercolour. I was chalk and charcoal all the time.
Yeah, same.
Wow, that's such a skill.
But you were kind of, when you come from school, it was the only thing I ever liked at school was art and PE. That's the only thing I liked to do. And art, we had great art teachers where they give you a freedom, and it wasn't academically based. It was everyone from different pockets of the school were in the art class together. So down there an academic, up there an academic. But if you were good at drawing, you were in this class. We used to have a blaster, we used to be able to come and put music on in the class, listen to music and draw.
Oh, I bet all the other one was like,
there was
what?
such a freedom because we were like, right, who's choosing what this week? But that was my world.
Yeah.
My art teacher used to bring in records to try and take home.
See that? No, that's
Remember-
good teaching.
Remember, get your timetable at the beginning of the year, double art on a Friday afternoon, you'd be like,
But it was perfect. But this was like the expression.
Yes.
And we're doing pop art, up art, all this kind of stuff. It was fantastic. And that's when you really kind of opened that door to kind of creativity.
Yes.
That's
the only thing I
amazing.
loved. Then I went to A-level and I had the worst lecturer ever. It was just watercolours. And there was a guy in the corner, this lad, was phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. But it was more architectural stuff that he was good at.
Yeah.
So I just ended up quitting.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just
Because you're not valued for you, and you're always being compared at school as well to other people.
you were good then.
Yeah.
This was like you were terrible.
Yeah.
So I just quit. I just completely stopped it. So,
Yeah.
but it's mad that really put you off. And I say to me daughter as well, because she's done the same, like crumple up a bit of paper. She's got really angry about messing up something. So I encourage them going, look, you can always do it again. Don't stress. But why don't you? Art is whatever your interpretation of this. So you have to work with it
And it's problem
and
solving.
go with the flow.
Yeah. I actually won't let them. This is how I learned. Don't practice with a pencil where you can rub it out. You spend your life rubbing out. Use a pen, use a biro, and mend your mistakes. So I've done a million mistakes in one picture, and you wouldn't know, but it's because I've been like, oh, well, their arm looks like they're disjointed, so I'm going to make that someone else's arm. You know what I mean? So it's sort of like no one else needs to know these things, but it's about you learning that it's okay to make. Yeah, I was doing I sometimes do sort of story times and things like that, and I sometimes do little portraits at the end. And I remember doing a portrait for a little girl, and she was only about 3, and I did a paint, and I was changing my colour, and I know I shouldn't. My friends tell me off, but I was just changing the colour, wiping my trouser leg, and the grandma goes, "Ian, make sure you don't do that," to this 3-year-old. And I go, "Why do we pretend to be so tidy? Like I had to when I had baby sick on my top. I still had to leave the house. How are we teaching people that it's okay to not be perfect?"
It drives me nuts, that, Hannah, as well. I mean, like the amount of parents you see. So we used to get criticised, me and my partner, because we were like, I'd take the kids to the beach, they'd be like, "Kit off in the water," right? And walking past, "You've got sand in it. They've got wellies on. You've got your wellies dirty in that puddle." just jump in the puddle.
Yeah.
Honestly, go home, get changed. It's fine. Get wet, get dirty, do what you want.
It doesn't. The thing is, it doesn't matter, and you know, always wash it. But also for me, little girl, I'm like, she knows now. She's got the pinny on. She's got the thing. She's prepping. I'm like, great. Now you've got everything, so you don't have to be stressing about making a mess. It's that.
Yeah.
So it's
But you work like a wet
I'm
wipe
planning,
parent where you're walking around with your kids that eating you, wiping their hands every couple of seconds to get the sandwich off their fingers and that.
Actually, my husband stopped me doing that.
Yeah,
we were in the park, and I'm like, "Oh, there's poo, the bird poo everywhere." And Mark's like, "Just let him play." I'm like, "No, but there's poo on that." He's like, "Hannah, there's poo everywhere," and I'm like, "Don't say that."
yeah. I think we've all been there. You've gone the over clean, you've gone the over thing. thing. But for me, you're adding the stress and the pressure because you created that by going, don't do this, don't do that. Why didn't you just go, freedom, have at it, jump in the sea if you want to?
Yeah.
But the planning is where it is. It's all right, I've got a spare bag and dry clothes in the van.
It's the planning.
There you go. This solves all the problem by planning it, you know.
It is. And because actually you're putting an unnecessary amount of stress on a child that's going to be clumsy. Like they're getting used to holding their hand. Their hands keep growing and changing size, and they're going to like, you know what I mean? Like they're not used to that.
But the thing is,
what's happening? What's happening?
Every time I thought I learned something, it's like kids are clumsy.
But Hannah, you said it before when you came in. You said, "Oh, you always like overpack and overload." I'm like, better to have it than not need it. And the same thing I do.
Yes.
If in doubt, I take it anywhere before I leave the house. So I've got it because there's something in my mind that goes, "You're going to need that later on." I just take it anyway.
And you have to adjust it with the people that are there. Like I deal with a lot of SEND children, and you don't know how fast they're going to go through something or how little, or whether you need a backup thing because that might just not get their interest. And
Is that why you've got that trailer on your van with those 400 pairs of socks in the back?
Oh, yeah.
You never know when you
17
need
towels.
17 towels.
17
16
towels.
pairs of
Water,
trainers.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's prepared.
14 water coolers.
No, you know what you do? You tail a van behind that van. Do you know what I mean?
Fleet. Prince Fleet.
Yeah. You have spares of everything. You got to have two of everything on my world. But that's the thing.
I love
If you have
that.
two of everything, if something goes wrong, you just pick the next thing up and then off you go.
totally
I just
for
hear that
that.
in the weight. I'm like, be prepared.
Yeah.
And then I don't have to stress about it because I've been through this before enough to know I need to prepare
Do
myself.
you ever do that thing though where you get really prepared so you have everything, loads of everything, so you're like, I'm never going to run out, and then you do one day because you're so unused to it? You do, never happens.
I don't know. For me, you know, when you run out of toilet roll in the house,
Oh, no.
winds me up. Who didn't do this?
Who is the
Who
last
didn't?
one?
Why isn't there 15,000 toilet rolls in the cupboard? Always have everything all the time.
There's also
I'm
etiquette as
like
well.
that, so,
Have you ever the rule that if you use the last piece, you you need to replace, or it's near the end, you should go either one to go.
Putting milk, empty milk, in the fridge after you've used it.
Yeah.
I will take it out and that thing will get thrown across the room. Just like, who did this?
Honestly,
because I remember as a
life.
kid, that was the most frustrating thing ever.
Oh, really?
Get ready. Life for teenagers.
Oh, man.
Oh, really?
All of my kids are putting an empty packet of ham back in the fridge.
That's
Love
hilarious.
you though, but you would.
There's nothing in it. Why put it back? Just put it on the bench over there and I'll put it in the recycling. It's fine.
My husband has this thing where I feel he's a bit sentimental to his sweet. He's a big sweet tooth.
Yeah.
He has bags. He's like the Haribo kid.
Nice.
And he
Like him already.
He doesn't like things ending, so he always. we
Constant
have loads of packets of just one or two sweets left, and I've just got a whole tray of these almost finished, and he won't let me throw them away. I'm just like, this is ridiculous.
Self-replenishing confectionery.
I think he's got attachment issues.
Yeah, oh my goodness, he just can't let go.
Just want to let go.
He can't let go. Doesn't want it to end.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
It's like the version of topping up your parents' spirit bottle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hold on a minute, we had a couple of drinks out of that bottle last week.
I'm
How's
just
it
thinking,
gone up?
yeah. I'm just thinking, is he a bit of a hoarder? Remember, like, you always kept your magazines when you were a kid, like Empire Mag
No,
or
but I
Maxim
think
or
that's
something
quite a
like
common thing, though, especially with
Really?
food. Sorry, ma'am. So Norma, like my mum has, like, honestly, every time I see her, she'll go, "Do you want to take these packs of chicken off? Because I've got too many." Or do you want a multi-pack of toilet rolls? Oh, I've got, like, honestly, it's like the old Curiosity shop. I've got some triple ply kitchen towels in bulk if you want some. I've got some detergent. Do you want some shipping to me pate, or do you want some spam? I've got 14 cans in the cupboard. She hasn't got double of everything. She's got everything of everything.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing.
I
Like,
feel it's
honestly,
magic.
I'm
That's
not telling you where it is, because if there's like a nuclear fallout, I help me mum
enormous.
dig a hole,
Yeah.
like a mole.
I know where to go. I'll tell you what, if I run out, I know where to go.
No.
Oh no, you do know.
I do know.
Do you?
Me and Dan are scrapping for the last tennis fan.
Is it instant? Is it instant?
I can't tell you.
Can't tell you.
Yeah, no,
But
I can't
we don't
say
know.
it. Yeah, you're not allowed in.
Oh
Yeah.
no! Oh man!
You need
Oh,
like,
let
that kind
you
of
go.
You need an
secret-
artist.
Anybody on the
secret-
wall can come in.
yeah.
That's it.
Some kind of secret wing
That's it.
shape
You'll
or
need,
something.
you'll need an artist. Because it's like the arc.
Is this going to be the bunker? Is this the bunker?
It's the bunker. Right. Anybody on that wall comes in.
Don't go in the wrong bunker.
Set.
Because I nearly went in the wrong bunker. There's another
Oh,
door.
so
And I was
cupboard.
I was knocking. I know. I'm saying it better not just be a cupboard. I asked someone else. They said I was behind the van. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I better not just be knocking on a cupboard door.
Imagine the guys next door said, "Aye, how are you? And we'll interview you."
Can you imagine?
iPhone out like that. You're like,
That's
it's not in the podcast.
That's not what I thought it was going to be. It didn't change. It's very different in real life. Like,
The top of parallel universes. There's another podcast going on somewhere else with us too. But
That's
we're
all.
different.
You think we're parallel. When he said that before, we're having a double extra everything. I'm expecting you to do that with me one day.
What's that?
I'll walk
Just
in and somebody like me will just be sitting next to you, be like, ah.
Yeah, I do it. Hologram.
oh.
Well, what happens if you glitch on Norma?
I think I have.
This is I'm going back to crappy Star Trek robot. That's what that is, isn't it? A glitch,
Crichton.
metal Mickey kind of stuff. You know, remember Mickey? No, Crichton, metal Mickey. My word. Sorry,
Right,
Anna.
scribbler. So, right, you were a nurse.
Yes.
Now you're not.
Yes.
Now you tell stories through illustrations.
I do.
When did you make an active decision and just go, right, I'm going to go for this
Oh,
because I love it and I want it to be my job?
I wish it was. Yes, I'm going to change the world. I'm going to go in my superhero illustration suit. But no, it wasn't like that. Sorry. It was... so, again, we had quite a battle with Peter, my little boy Peter. He had special needs. He's quite significant at the time. And he was going to nursery and they were helping us through the process of getting support, which is really tricky. And I feel sorry for all parents that have to go through that, because at the end of the day, it's because they don't want to give you the money and you have to. It's really hard. But anyway, so doing that process, but to say thank you to the nursery who was so good and they made reasonable adjustments. Like they had to hold him back because kept him in the baby room for like an extra year because mentally he just couldn't, and he couldn't walk till he was 3.
Right.
So
Was that linked to his early birth, Hannah?
Yeah, it's, with his cerebral palsy. So so he couldn't say mummy till he was 3 either. So it was a long time. And to say thank you, I was like, well, I used to go around telling my stories to some care homes at one point. So I thought, well, I could tell some of the stories to the kids. And I'll do some illustrations, put some colour on them, you know. Because, like, black and white doesn't really get the kids as excited as, like, an actual, colourful picture. So I did a few of those and the kids loved them and the staff loved them. And I did it as a thank you. And then my friend said, Hannah, why don't you just start charging? And I'm like, no one's going to want that. And she's like, yeah, I bet they would. So I was like, oh, go on then. And I just started with doing 4. So I want some of these. These are like just sort of like A6 cards. And I just did 4 designs and I got them printed. And then I was like, well, to get myself more, I don't know, what got me to that point? Oh, I know. It's because I wanted to write a book about how to support people that have gone through the journey with me through the neonatal process. And my dad's great. He's brutal. He has a great work ethic in that way. And he has... He's very straight to the point with us. He's never given us anything easy, but in a good way, I guess. And I was like, oh, I want to do this book, Dad, you know. And he's like, no one's going to want to read a book about you. And I'm like, excuse me. He's like, well, no one's going to invest in you. You're just a nobody. No one's going to want to take the chance of publishing a book with someone that has no credibility of making any money. And in a way, he was right. I was like, oi! And I was like, well, I'm going to get more known then. So I thought, well, I'll do these cards and I'll get more known and people can follow Hannah Graham, Storyteller, because that's what I do. I tell stories through illustrations and through maybe writing a story one day. And so I made these 4 designs. One was Peter Pocket with his little posting a letter in the post box because everyone loves a post box. One saying thinking of you, and one saying happy birthday. And I initially got them. I just sold them to people initially, and then I got them in the winter gardens.
Yeah.
And then that was a bit of a start. But actually, I found initially people were more interested with the storytelling than the illustrations. So I just went around with my stories and illustrating them, and got more known in schools. Really, actually, hard to get into schools. So it was World Book Day was my point where I got in. And it was a desperate teacher being like, "Hi, do you do stories?" I'm like, "Yeah," ready to go. And that's where that bit started. And then it snowballed. And the more I went on, you can tell, you learn to differentiate the people that appreciate you and the people that don't. And you go for the people, you don't bother trying with the people's that eyes that glaze over.
Oh, we just talked about this yesterday, didn't we?
Really?
Yeah, you've got to go with the people that are going to back you. There's no point keep on hitting your head against the doors that aren't opening.
No.
Waste of time.
And then, I have to mention this. The biggest thing that really helped me grow was my beautiful community. So people ask me, "Where's your art studio?" I'm like, in every coffee shop in Sunderland. Because for me to work, I love the chatter of people and community and people around me. And I will only go back to a coffee shop if I think you mentioned this as well. And I was like, yes, amen to that. Yes. When it was about, what was it about? It was when you were saying about the food, what's her name? Was it Bev? Or someone was saying about the food's important, but the service is more.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
it's all about
Beth,
service.
Yeah. And it's so true. Like like nursing point, I want to know when I go somewhere, I'm not just, I know that's quite entitled, like, but when I go somewhere, you're treating me like a human being, not just a customer.
Yeah. That's why I've always thought nursing and hospitality are identical.
They are.
They are identical skill
Making
sets.
people feel valued.
Yeah.
Bedside manner, isn't it?
Well, it is.
Yeah.
But we used to talk about that. I mean, Helena, I used to run a restaurant, and she'd be talking about how quick she could turn the water around and changing beds and resetting everything. And that's exactly the same as a restaurant flow.
Yeah.
It's the same behaviours and the same attention to detail and the same people management and the same empathy. Yeah. All of the same things.
It's such good, and you can tell where there's like, you got a good captain for, like, so I called it captain. So our sister who was at the Freeman was a great captain. And you can see that in restaurants as well. When there's a good captain, it trickles down.
Yeah.
And you get happy staff. And happy staff tend to be sort of elude that and share that. And then sometimes that staff might not be having a good day. And you're like, "Oh, are you okay?" And they wouldn't obviously, be professional, but it's having that human interaction, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
And that's why I'm very in love with so many. We have such a brilliant, in Sunderland, we have so many brilliant coffee shops that have community. I've gone to other places in a bit of the cities, and I know it's sort of when you get to know people and things like that, but it's a lot more about professionals going in, getting their coffee, running away. Whereas in Sunderland there is that sense of community,
massively,
which is really magic. It is magic. That's why I love drawing in them, because it just fills you with happiness, and I guess that helps you to draw, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Inspired by people around you as well, because people watching, there's nothing better, is there, Hannah?
Love it.
It's great.
That's part of the problem, is I should be getting on with a certain project, and I'll see like that Nana and her grandson, or I'll see a mum really trying hard with a child who's just not doing what they're supposed to be doing, or and I just or appreciate someone, just a teenager sitting on the metro putting his feet up. Just capturing that and then sharing it with them makes them so happy. And I love, so I need to try not to get distracted is awful, really.
Totally.
It is, very much in our world, in our mind view as well.
Yeah. Although distraction is sometimes what leads you towards the goal.
It's so true. Mm-hmm. I had a bad neck, and I had to have really strong painkillers. And the busy thought's gone. Yeah. And I was like, I don't like it. It stops all the creativity.
Yeah, it stops the chatter. There's a balance, isn't it, to try and keep the chatter down, but also keep it creative at the same time.
Well, that's what I mean. So that I would say that your distraction is what's led you here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
It's
because
crazy,
you're having the time for people. Sometimes being distracted is good, because I think sometimes if we're too if we're too fixed on our own plans, we miss so much. And spending that 1 minute to be like, oh, I know I should be working, but taking the time to stop for that one person, and what a difference that makes.
We just wish we could say to all teachers, don't confuse distraction with opportunity.
Oh,
Exactly.
we're talking
But
about
it's true, though.
t-shirt.
It's true though, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, it's
don't
really
always
good.
think it's a distraction.
That is so true.
They could be doing something really useful. John Kirtley said this about the kids that he works with in the woods, and they're doing really interesting things. They're handling knives and
love
and they're
that.
learning
Life skills,
I love
rudimentary
that.
things that otherwise somebody else will go, put that down.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Yes.
Sharp knife,
Don't
yeah.
let that fire.
So-
It's dangerous.
So my child with special needs, he
Yeah.
goes to Sunningdale School, amazing school, and sometimes he comes in with his feet wet. I'm like, Peter, why's your feet wet? And he can't tell me. So I look on the app. It's like, oh, he's been paddleboarding in the sea.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, one day he'll be like, oh, they've been using the bonfire to roast marshmallows. I'm like, these are Sen kids.
Well,
And they're
Hannah,
using
my
so
son
good.
was a Sen kid, so my son's autistic. And was it Forest School?
Oh, it's a magic.
Just changed everything. Didn't change everything quick enough,
No.
but when it happened, it was a really, really positive thing.
Yeah.
And then they had beach school. They had all these. I used to say it all of the time. Wouldn't it be great if you just let the Scouts and Cubs be in charge of schools?
Yes.
Right, up until the age of 11, right? Just teach them how to build camps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let them run free. Let them be distracted, and let them just find their way, so that when they do go to school into a conventional environment, they're at least comfortable with who they are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. It's so true. So true.
God, that's a bit serious. Sorry.
Oh, do you want to know something? I have got a gift for you guys.
Ooh,
So I
like
don't know if
gifts.
you know. Will this be coming up before?
I think I know what you're going to mention. Are you going to mention? Will it come out? When is that?
It's not a big
Is it-
bar of Cadbury's,
is it
is it?
coming-
Oh,
is it-
No,
yeah,
I'm
it
afraid
is.
not. I'm so sorry.
It's a
It's the same
check
shape.
size.
It's the same shape though.
Inspired.
It's not
Inspired
that
shape.
sad when you think you're going to get something for Christmas and you're like, oh, is it chocolate? And you open it, it's like, no, it's a book.
What do you call that? What do you call that program on TV when they come in and change your house?
A changing
DIY
room.
SOS.
Yeah,
that kind
we
of
didn't
thing.
want to tell you, but yeah,
DIY
the Cadbury's people are going to come in next week and do the whole
Oh,
place out.
don't disappoint him.
You turn up for the next recording, you're like, oh, look at this.
Can you imagine? Have you ever done this thing with a box of disappointment before?
Oh no.
You get a box.
Box of disappointment.
You get a box of like chocolate and you have it all empty and you put a little note saying disappointed.
I
I thought you were
think
going to say you put all the coffee and chocolate rebels in.
I only did it once and I felt so bad I'll never do it again. I did it at a youth group. And they do pass the pass. I said, if you donate your sweet that you got in the wrapper, you can have a chance to win the big prize.
that's brilliant, isn't it?
And they were all sad. I was like, I'm sorry, guys.
That's like, it's like a computer block. It's a computer, but it's like a breeze block inside the box.
We used to do that.
Yeah.
At school, we used to get like anything that had a foil wrap, right?
Oh, yeah.
Clubs,
Oh,
biscuits,
Oh yeah.
right? Orange one. Or Kit
No,
Kats.
raisins.
We used to
Sorry.
reform
Kit
the
Kat.
Kit Kat shape and put the band back over it and go, do you want a Kit Kat? And they go, oh, yeah, and you hand it and go,
There's
there's
nothing in it. Yeah. It's hard with a Kit Kat because that foil's very thin, isn't it?
Oh, that is.
The other
Oh,
day it was like your
do you
fat
remember
wrap.
that when you used to like rub it and you could see the foil through it?
Do it with my knuckle like that.
Oh yeah,
Special.
it's so special. They
Right.
put them in plastic wrappers now.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's just
I know.
destroyed.
Look,
I'm really surprised at that because that was a really big part.
Yes.
It was like cracking the Terry's chocolate orange. They're doing the Kit
Yeah.
Kat
yeah.
thing.
The
yeah.
whole thing was a process. Sleeve comes off, you run your finger down, which
Oh.
sliced up the foil, and then you
Yes.
snap it in half, and then you unpeel and then.
How do you eat it?
Well, snap it. Two Kit Kat. Run your finger down the foil.
double
You
arrow,
snap
four,
it.
eh?
No, just a double.
We'll just go for double
You're from-
today.
yeah,
We'll just
gotta
go for
share
double.
that thing, my friend. I'm talking as a kid. I'm talking as a kid.
In your pat. Oh,
Four didn't exist.
no,
You
but
had to
no,
do.
well,
Do
no.
you know what I mean?
Sometimes
But
some
never
other
that.
people's parents would put the four, and you'd be dead jealous.
Yeah.
And
totally.
weight.
Four?
I think my mum said in Weight Watchers
like,
you get
what?
less. It's less points if you have a 4 to a 2, because. Because so I think it was something like, so a Kit Kat would be like 2 points, but a 4 Kit Kat would be 3. So you
Because
could
the
eat
singles
more.
would encourage multiple purchases. It would.
Yeah.
It would. Don't buy it. Don't buy the big one. Buy more of the small ones.
Yeah.
No,
Get
it's the
more
opposite way round.
Oh, the other way around.
So if just the double ones were 2 and then the big ones were 3 points, if you had we're doing maths now.
It's Kit Kat math.
Basically, you didn't have
Yeah,
as much points if you ate the bigger one opposed to 2 double ones.
I don't know what
Right,
you're talking
okay.
about. I don't know what anyone's talking
We
about.
need to have.
Well, don't worry, we don't. None of us are doing Weight
Kit Kat
Watchers. So it's fine.
adjudicator.
How you ate a Kit Kat,
so
snap it and then foil off.
But anyway,
half
you
and
were
then
you
half
were saying again
you know,
anyway.
so,
How
yeah.
are you eating the Kit
Well, it
Kat?
depends, you know, because it's how you eat anything. Sometimes you would nibble the end and then you bite all the way down. Sometimes you just go straight in, bang. Sometimes you go.
I suppose if there's a cup of, what about if there's a cup of tea? There's a
cup of tea.
Oh, I don't know.
To change the gameplay.
They struggle. I think Kit Kat struggle with tea, mind.
They don't.
Yeah, because it would be like melting straight away.
No,
Wouldn't it?
no. You bite each end. You bite each
It's like a
end
big
off.
Yeah,
And you straw
Yeah, I have done that before.
That
I've
is-
done it with milk.
milk. Really? Does that work?
Yeah.
Hot milk or cold
Am I
milk?
lying? I have done it with milk.
No, I believe you. I believe you.
Can I-
No, I was actually not believing myself.
Staying
The
on
embellisher, remember?
staying on the Kit Kat
Yeah.
conversation. Kit Kat conversation. I remember, if you're old enough, when the Kit Kat Chunky was invented. That wasn't even a
I
thing when
do.
I was a kid,
Is it
right?
not?
No, nah.
And then it came
No,
in,
no.
and that was just. It was like a new world because of the thickness of that
You
chocolate.
eat the chocolate
It's almost like a Yorkie version of the
It
Kit
is.
Kat. You know what I mean? It's that
Oh,
thick, heavy
yeah.
chocolate.
Although I did have one experience.
And then I bite
right?
the ends off that.
Oh
So,
yeah, that's a good one.
Old style Kit Kat.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever get a defect one?
Yes.
When it was hard chocolate.
Hot chocolate,
Half
yes,
Half
yes,
of
you
it,
could-
maybe
remember that,
half
yeah.
of it was chocolate.
I had
rock
one the
solid.
other day,
What?
Yeah.
but it was Audi's version.
I'm
Kit
wondering
Kant or whatever they
whether
call
the
it.
manufacturers do, it's like the golden ticket. Whether they're like, yeah,
Is it really?
how many we're gonna sling into the production line this
Do you
month?
think they do
Put-
I'm
that?
trying to think of something else. You know, like
That
an
just
M&M,
takes
it's
some
just all solid
magic
chocolate.
out.
Is there anything else that you were surprised with? It's like, you know, a crinkle cut crisp that was flat. You're like, it's like one of those, wasn't it? Something
Like
like
double
double
eggs.
together. Oh,
Oh,
Wasn't
it's
there a shape of a Walker's crisp once? So there was a certain shape, and it would
with
mean
the face of Jesus on it.
there was one like that was like the perfect shape of the shape, but you mustn't crack it. Who was that guy who ate a cream egg that they weren't supposed to eat? Like there was one, there was the
Oh,
cream
it's like a
egg,
special cream egg.
the special
yeah,
cream egg that was
win
half
money
white
on-
and
yeah.
chocolate, and
Half
they
white.
didn't. They
Yeah.
just ate it, and then they were like, "No, what have you
Yeah,
done?"
it's like
That's
Yeah.
a classic.
million
Again,
quid.
that's classic embellishing territory for me. Because I'd be like, no, I didn't eat that one. I ate a different one. I saw the other one though. It was on the top shelf. I don't know where it's gone.
Chris head down in the wheelie bin trying to get the wrapper out, trying to hide the wrapper. at the
Reform the
bottom.
wrapper without anything in the middle, like a Kit Kat. There it is. Just put it back on the shelf there for you. It's all right.
Reforming
Do you
wrappers.
remember the Willy Wonka bars? No one else remembers them. The ones with
No, I
popcorn
do.
candy.
They were like a limited edition, weren't they?
They were
I
so
don't know.
good.
When was
I
this?
I wanted to win a chance to go to the chocolate factory, and I didn't win. If you got them, you could win.
Well, I had this idea, right? Because everybody was talking about going around factories earlier. I love a factory tour, right?
Do you?
Just because it was part of my job. So
Oh.
the whole Greg Wallace thing, you know, how's it made? I'd go into any kind of factory and spend half a day getting shown around process and like how the chocolate bar's made. How do you make a fruit pastel?
Ah, but it's
Right.
interesting, wasn't it?
Oh, it is.
That's
really,
why they made a TV
because-
series. out of
But it breaks your mind a little bit because you go, what?
Yeah.
Like there's this process called I want to pronounce it right, dredging, right? So
Dredging?
it's and I've been to a factory, in fact, linked to shout out Chocolate Nibbles, Sweet Dreams
Oh,
Confectionery,
Chocolate
right?
nibs.
In Cramlington. So a company they work with used to have one of the original dredging machines that was on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, right? A dredging machine looks like a cement mixer, right? So it's where if you get chocolate coated nuts and raisins, or you get anything that's like an inclusion, they get thrown into the cement mixer. Cement mixer's turning like that, and it sprays chocolate in. Imagine like hairspray, so it's fine. So it's layered over time, and it's just spinning and spinning and spinning.
Wow.
Incredible, really incredible. Anyway, I had this idea. I thought, going back to Greg's, because everybody wants to go into Greg's factory, right? You want to see how a Greg's sausage roll's made? You sort of expect it, because it's so big. You expect it to be like the savoury version of Willy Wonka.
Yeah,
You know?
oh, yeah.
So when he comes out with a top hat and does a roly-poly and that, lets you in.
All in West
So,
Blue.
Greg should do a golden ticket thing. You know, like golden
Oh, yeah.
ticket and
Why
a sausage
don't
roll.
they?
Wouldn't that be cool?
I want to see the proportions of.
How would you
corned
find?
beef
How would you
and
get the golden
potato,
ticket
yeah.
though? Like, because the golden ticket was hidden in a
Yeah, that's a
wrapper,
good
wasn't
point.
it? Would you hide it in the
Just
in the
choke on
little
it.
paper bag that they have it in, or like in the actual pastry?
We have to, yeah.
You have
put
to bite
jeopardy.
into it.
It's a bit like, getting engaged with somebody and putting the
Yeah,
ring
it's like
in it.
it's rolled up.
choking.
Yeah.
Oh no, I ate the golden ticket. Can you imagine?
Yeah, because it's what is that in? Because the thing is, you could pour it in anything, couldn't you? You could kind of I don't know.
I see. It has to be like a signature product. You
Yeah,
know,
something like that. Because
Yes,
it could be a
that would be the way.
donut, like if the different coloured jam and the donut or something like that. Because then it's an
It'd
easier.
have to be a vegan donut so everyone could have a go.
But then
Yeah, an
but that's-
inclusive golden
But it's
ticket.
so hard because it's what you put it in. If you only buy sausage rolls, then there's going to be an influx. It's in the sausage rolls, everyone. Do you remember?
But that's what
Everyone's
happened in the
gonna
Charlie.
die.
That's happened in the Charlie and
Yeah.
Chocolate Factory. They
Tearing
all
them up and
sold out.
throwing them.
Well, it worked for Charlie, didn't it?
A mountain of like disused sausage rolls. Just a pile, like a pile
Oh.
of bricks
Like a
outside.
huge
They just like
scandal.
snapped open kind of sausage rolls. It's not that much of a valued item, was it?
Panorama. Like the great sausage roll scandal. Like piles of sausage rolls everywhere. Rats in that.
Oh no, don't. Sunderland rats. They feature in a lot of my illustrations actually. And people don't like to talk about them. But
they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Sunderland
Apart
rats?
from yeah.
Just rats in general.
Just rats in general. But I noticed them more. I used to be a country munchkin, so I didn't actually see that many. I used to be a country munchkin. Used to go off and go. I don't know what our parents were thinking. We used to literally go out to farmers' fields and be out for like all day, and we'd wade through like ponds to go and have a picnic across them like this. Got chased by
was the way.
farmers.
Wasn't it?
Farmer's field, freshly cut corn. They used to pull them out and bombs thrown them at each other.
yeah.
We
Farmer's
had
field.
we had lots of bamboo. Like this like elephant grass. Dangerous though. Like you
Sharp,
you
is it,
do
like,
it round
hard?
like a sword and it goes.
Yeah.
And
Somebody hits you in the back of the legs.
someone
with it.
someone could kidnap you like in these grassy fields. Something out of a horror movie because
Yeah.
they rattle. Because I used to go jogging, and you'd just be jogging. You think, "There's something behind you." And you're like, "Oh my goodness!" I got chased by a shepherd dog once, and like they just left the gate open. And I was just walking past it. Go, usually there's a gate in the way, but there's no gate in the way. And they got and chased me.
It's actually terrifying. That sounds like a horror film. All I can see is you running through elephant grass. And all I can hear is like,
It was like that, except it wasn't as bad as that.
like you're on a never-ending story. The nothing.
Oh no, that's terrifying.
And
That,
everybody's frightened of the
and
nothing.
the sad horse.
Artax.
Don't make me
I still
cry.
cry.
Don't make me
I
cry.
still cry.
You'll make me
Although-
cry.
Although I used to call him Artex until this year.
What's his name again? Like,
It's Artax, isn't it?
oh, is it? See, I'm always
Artax.
bad at getting names wrong.
Because Artex is known.
Artex.
More
Is
than
it Artex?
Artex, yeah.
Teletext.
Artex.
Artex.
Like,
That
when they do the
is-
Yeah,
ceiling,
Artex ceiling. Artax was the horse.
That inspired a lot of my imagination, and I really related to the character feeling like that one just like hiding in their imagination. Like
You watch it again, it's a proper progressive film.
it's yeah.
Isn't it about a child lost in his imagination and being a loner and all these things playing out? And you should watch it now.
I was showing my husband it. He was like, "You watched this as a kid?"
that's
yeah. It's a classic, yeah.
It's like this is sad, and especially the swamps of despair, and like, oh my goodness, it
You
was,
remember things, don't you? Like that flying thing. Everybody's like, it was a dragon. I was like, oh, I thought it was a flying dog. With
Yeah, I thought it was
with
a flying
pills in its
dog.
back.
I know,
It looks
I
like
thought it was a flying
wasn't
dog.
it? Yeah, it was a flying dog.
Was he again? What type of dragon he was? He was a special dragon,
I know,
wasn't he?
Just floppy.
Oh, he had a lush face though.
Oh, he just like loved his
Everybody
food.
wanted him.
And he had the voice as well, like the comforting good
totally.
voice. I love the two couple that. Sorry for anyone that doesn't know, but there's this two
Oh, on the
couple.
little zip wire.
When he's always like just shouting at each other, saying, "Will you just shut up?" I love them.
It's a classic.
Got much better memory than me. Obviously, I've seen it.
Do you not remember all of
It's embedded.
But like, yeah.
Oh.
It's
But not
embedded
every
in my
bit of it, but
memory,
yeah,
like hiding in the dark. Like within there's like.
I think it was, yeah, but I think I remember Labyrinth more than I do that one. Do you know what I mean? Labyrinth.
Oh, I remember Labyrinth as well.
Yeah, there's so many.
You're not talking about David Bowie's Jodhpurs though, eh?
Oh, I like the big, you know, those big characters, the giant, salt giant or something, and then the snail.
yeah.
The snail.
The snail. That salt
speed
giant
snail.
made me want to eat rocks when I was young.
I know, me too.
Isn't it weird?
I can't remember what it was, but I don't know if it was the ice gems
Yes.
that I used to eat and pretend that they were the boulders.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
ice gems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went one step further.
Did you try it? Did
Actually,
you give it a go?
I think I developed a short-term obsession with just being triggered, by the way, because I used to look at, like, you know, when tarmac is getting laid, soft.
Looks like flapjack.
It looks edible.
Yeah.
You know when you're making crunchy
Yeah.
cakes,
Mhm.
like with Rice Krispies.
Yeah.
But it's black. It's black.
Look at it, I used to think,
It's black.
like, try a bit of tarmac.
It's got a treacle vibe.
Where the
hasn't it?
Caramac
Yeah.
Did
brand
you
came
actually?
from.
Did you actually try it? Yeah,
No, I didn't.
no.
No, I didn't. No, that was dog food. That's a
Oh,
different story,
you
but-
know what? I tried dog food as well.
Yeah, did you?
No, I was upset. I was really. This is why I learnt from a. So my mum, to get rid of this, would be like, we go to a fair and she'd like, right, get as many freebies as you can, come back so you can get the best one. That was
Yeah.
what we like. We used to be in the country, you know,
Yeah,
like with
yeah.
the pigs and the.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's good,
Anyway, so one time we were like going around tasting things, and this one tasted like bacon. I'm like, that one. And then tried another one. That one tastes like fish. I'm like, I'm like, what are these? And they're cat and dog biscuits. I'm like, why didn't you tell me? They're like, they're edible for human consumption. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, but if they didn't say that, you would be on it,
It
nice,
was
wouldn't you? Do you know
it was-
what I mean?
it was
They'd
probably
put you
well
off by knowing the
deserved.
fact. So,
Probably well deserved.
so on that point, what's the worst thing you've ever eaten, Hannah?
Oh, the worst.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
if it's
not-
not a dog biscuit,
So
what is it?
I'm not.
I don't think it could be a dog biscuit. Could
So
be the worst.
I have to be honest. I've eaten a lot of weird things,
Like
but I'm
dog
not
food?
fussy. Like there's things I really don't like the mint tea. Like I pretended to like it, but I don't, who actually really likes herbal tea? Does anyone like herbal tea?
have to whisper
The
that.
smell
Yeah.
is more powerful than the taste.
And that's why it's
a letdown.
disappointing.
It's disappointing.
Disappointing.
Herbal tea is a disappointment.
That's why.
However, I had a
like-
meeting recently at the boiler shop,
Mm-hmm.
and he made me a cup of buttermilk mint tea, and it was lovely.
Was it?
The taste matched the smell.
Now that's important.
Okay,
And that's
I've
what blew
never
me away.
ever, but
I
I've
don't think you
never
have that.
ever had that before. It's never ever like matched the smell.
That's, I think, important. Yeah.
Because the smell's almost like a diluted juice. It's like, oh, this is going to be like a flavour sensation, and you go,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm still trying to find it. What's the flavour again?
Yeah. Well, it tastes bitter as well, doesn't it? Like you drink it, you're like, oh, it's not only not what tastes what it should. It doesn't
Yeah.
look like what the colour is either.
Yeah.
But so the weirdest thing, I went to Cambodia. So during my nursing training, I was like, oh, I wonder what it'd be like to be a nurse in Cambodia. So I had a contact that did a charity called Daughters of Cambodia, and they help women to retrain to come out the sex industry by doing whether that's learning customer service skills or baking or cooking. And so I went to there, and they very kindly bought me this duck egg, and it was I don't know what the word is, it's embryotic duck egg,
Right.
word.
Mhm.
That I have to say was very interesting. But I ate it, but it was very interesting because it's like the texture of a foam banana
It's
inside.
the texture, isn't it? Always the texture that gets
Yeah. So I'm not really fussy, but I did find that bit strange. Is there anything I didn't like? I think I like most things. I think that's the only thing I've been like, ooh. See, that's not very exciting, is it?
That's fine,
Oh,
because
it's exciting.
mine's like sushi or something. Because I
No,
just
what? You don't like
sushi?
sushi?
No, don't like it.
Oh, I
Textures.
love a sushi.
I love
It's
sushi.
even.
Oh,
It's
I
even.
love
It's
sushi.
even smoked salmon. It's
Hold
the
on a
texture.
minute.
It's slimy.
Right,
Not a
lean
fan.
in, yeah, Mike.
Someone did a
Right.
heavy breath in the
Right,
corner.
Oh,
there.
do we have this?
Right.
Do we have
He
this?
just did a proper.
Sigh. Was that a sigh of?
I'm allowed to
Is that
dislike
agreement?
something. Am I
So
not?
Nah.
I was in Vancouver, and
podcast?
it was like it was in one of the guidebooks. It's like if you don't like the sushi here, which is like the best in the world, you don't like sushi. And I got there, I was like, I don't like sushi. Conclusion.
So yeah. Oh
So
right.
do you like it or you don't?
I thought this was
You're
going
in
to
your camp.
He's on your
I
team.
thought it was gonna be opposition
No, it's
to the
like-
corner, right? Because
We've
I've
got
never.
50-50.
Versus you two.
Yeah, but the fact is, this always comes up, and you
I'm
go.
so sorry.
No, but no,
I
it
love
comes up because you're like, oh, it's not just raw fish. I've tried it.
not just raw
Even the
fish.
rice is. It's just not a nice flavour. It's not for me. I've given it a go. Look, it took us a couple of years to like olives and coffee, so I'm like, I'll give it a try and I'll give it a
Yes.
pop. That one is through. But that, I just couldn't.
But did
get
you try
away
it with all the things?
I mean, there's a bit of
I
sauce
tried
and
many of the
Soy,
things with all the things.
Wasabi and
Yeah, you
ginger.
dress it up with all the dressings in you if you want. Adding things on, that's a cheat as well, right? It should just be the thing in its own. Should live up to the expectation
Well,
as
it's
well
like
as
saying that eating sushi's a cheat on rice.
I know, but the thing is, it's like that should be nice by itself, but that should be like leveling up with the sauces.
Dan, did you grow up on the beach? You did.
Fish and chips was frequent, yes.
I don't mean the fish and chips. I mean,
Do I live in the sand?
well, seaweed.
Sandman Dan.
Seaweed to me is like, well, you don't eat that.
Oh, that's so true.
And then the worst thing was,
it was salty, isn't it?
Back in the sort of like 80s Whitley Bay,
Right.
they had these horrible little wooden shacks which sold like winkles in a polystyrene cup.
Oh,
I
no,
like
no, no,
Winkles.
no.
I was like, well,
no.
winkles and mussels and all those things, they're just on the rocks.
But
It's like, I don't want to eat what I've...
Oh, see, I love all that.
no, but hang on. My thing was mussels. I used to love mussels. So therefore, I don't like that, but I like mussels.
Mussels, yeah.
Capers can do one, right? Anchovies can do one.
You don't like salty
Anchovies.
things?
You don't
That's
like
salty
anchovies.
things.
What?
Salty.
Not
Off
anchovies.
you pop.
You do, hold
Pineapple on
What
pizza,
type-
off you
what
pop.
These
type
are
of anchovies?
salty.
The ones that are marinated in oil, that are vinegary, or salty ones, or just in general? You don't like anchovies?
I've had an anchovy with something else. I'm like, that doesn't have to be there. So
I could
let's
eat
not
kilos
bother.
of anchovies. I love them.
Calamari, squid, do one.
Yeah, I'm not so keen on them.
Actually, you go, oh, monkfish. To be honest, salmon's better than monkfish. That's
It's not.
do one.
Salmon's not better than monkfish.
Salmon's better than monkfish. In my tastes, salmon is better than monkfish.
I've never tried.
I like all fish. Dover's sole. I've tried
Dover
a
sole?
lot. I've tried a lot. I like loads of
You
fish,
really
right?
tried hard to like it.
I have tried it. Not as good as the other.
No,
So there-
fair
hey,
dues, fair dues.
You've got to go with that. It's like, well, I
So have
said,
you been to Yo Sushi?
Lamb King of Meats? No, I haven't been to your
No,
sushi.
no.
I've tried. I've probably went. I'm going to give that a go again
But
when
no.
someone's eating it. And I'm like, nah, I still
Nah,
can't.
that's still.
I still
Even though
cannot
there's a
get
little
it.
conveyor belt that's really exciting as it
You
goes
went-
past.
The excitement, you get all the bells and whistles that you can have. So a little kind of, bear
Just-
coming
did you
around
press-
on a tricycle, whatever it is, just serving it. I don't care. Crap,
You
get
just
it
press
out
it
there.
and say, can you do as a lamb dinner?
Can you do it?
Can you imagine? Can you see what this
Quite a
going?
lot.
I would love to
Just
witness
brought this up. I
that.
know it's a terrible thing to bring up, but
Slow
it just
cook
made me
Moroccan
think.
couscous. I'm in. You know what I mean?
Couscous.
Oh, hey.
There was an article in the Chronicle the other day. I had to comment on it because I could. It was one of those typical making a story out of nothing stories, right? About a woman who'd just been on a holiday. I think I might have sent you the link. She'd been on a
You
holiday
did.
to Corfu, right? And it was put up as a serious bit of editorial, right?
Okay.
It wasn't like a skit or a joke. It was a.
It looked like
This
something
woman
off
had ter-
the Sunday
You know,
of
like
Sport.
Woman's
years ago.
Own, where someone's sitting on a swing in a council estate and they're like, that's how they destroyed my life. It was like that. And this woman gone on holiday to Corfu, all inclusive, and was devastated that she couldn't get English food when she was there.
Oh, dear.
But it was just a sentence because she was like, I went downstairs for breakfast and I had things like rice and sardines. I mean, I couldn't even get bacon and sausage. And when it came to drinks on an evening, you could get things like ouzo and wine, but there was no sign of any bottled packaged lager.
Oh,
And the
God,
Chronicle
that's
put
so
it up there.
sad.
But it was the comments.
That's
Someone
that's
take our passport
fantastic.
away.
Yes.
Or-
They're the best bits sometimes, and then you're like, this is such a bad article, let's have a look.
And so,
She's definitely packing tea bags in her bag, isn't she?
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
no.
She's packing tea
but it
bags
was
and
another
stuff.
level. Like, it was another level
It looked,
of expectation.
It looked like a joke. It was
Yeah,
almost
yeah,
just-
yeah, exactly,
it was like-
exactly.
It's like April Fool's Day.
But it was like April Fool's or like
But-
the Sunday
but
sport,
there are
like
people
alien
that
stole my lawnmower.
Real
Mate.
people
Like,
that
I know
are like
people who
that,
might take tea bags and a couple of things, but to
I'll take a
go
tea
and
bag.
full on
Take a
full
tea
on
bag,
expectation that you're
and
just
then
going to
slate
go home
it
and
as
have,
well. Like you might
know,
think it in your head, but then actually just like.
Imagine the image, right? An angry gran looking at the camera
Oh, it was. That's
with a
what it
slight
was.
head tilt and the chin down, little furrowed eye.
I'm trying to.
That's a great
I'm
It's
trying
just
to-
face.
like couldn't get English food on holiday. Like woman devastated.
Why did you go on holiday there? Oh, for the sun. Never for the sun.
Yeah.
But it's mental.
But the sun was different.
Absolutely. It's hotter over there.
It's hot over there.
It's hotter over there.
Oh,
Hey, that
dear.
sun's warm, isn't it?
I love it. It's not the same as ours. It's not the same as ours.
It's like that snow's cold, isn't it? What do you want to say about that? What can you say about that?
Brilliant.
I
Honestly.
don't know. It's worth the
Right.
story. Oh, there's
Sorry, should we go to our menu?
Got to.
Right,
go
on
after
it.
the menu.
Right, pick something from there. Pick something from the menu.
Oh,
Anything you want.
you know what I really like as a story prop. I admired it. It was almost had a statement in as I walked in the room. I knew it was coming. Oh, I love it. I
So
didn't
you can
realize.
pick anything you want.
Do I
interpret
have
it.
to start with the starters, then
No.
go to the mains,
Anywhere
and then
you
work
want.
your way
Anywhere you
down?
want. Anything
Anywhere
that
you want.
intrigues you.
Oh,
Anywhere.
but the thing is, I've
you know-
had so much. I've been arguing with this. Yeah, sorry.
No, I was going to say do it like a child. You know, when you have chocolate cake with your starter and then you have your...
Oh,
they'll
I
just
like
go anywhere.
that.
Yeah, go
Kids
anywhere
will
you
go
want.
anywhere.
See,
can't they?
I'm all for that. My husband's like, no, like put in like he's very methodical, right?
So I think cheese and biscuits should be a
Oh,
starter.
so
not a
this,
dessert.
you've done this cleverly. You've made it so you don't actually know what it's about. They're just words, and it's like a little pick and
Yes.
mix.
Interpretation.
Oh, interpretation. Okay, I think I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna be one of those people who picks from the menu, and they're like, take forever, don't I? You know, you're like, we're already told you
Could I
that.
have
Sorry,
half
you
of
need one.
that and another half of
That
this,
is me.
but not quite like
Yes,
that.
but I'd say I always ask, but I understand if they don't do it because I'm ridiculous. I'm that person.
I'll change it because of dietary requirements, but I can pick something in 3 seconds.
I sometimes let them assume it's that, so I don't get judged.
Oh, hold on.
Don't you all dare, don't care. I'm paying.
Before you answer your question, I have to mention this because I went, yesterday when I went to charge the car with my ridiculous morning, and I went and plugged my computer in to McDonald's. That's where the car was charging. A couple of people having an argument with the staff at McDonald's because they'd ordered, I think, it was like what are the breakfast muffins they do? It was like a sausage and bacon or a breakfast muffin.
Mm-hmm.
But it was with everything taken out, with like just an egg in it or something. And they were going, "You've just got my order wrong. I wanted to have a sausage and egg and bacon McMuffin without the sausage." And the guy was going, "Well, he could have just ordered a bacon and egg McMuffin."
Yeah.
But that's not what I ordered.
No.
I ordered that without that. And it went on for 20. When I was sitting there on the computer,
Oh no.
20-minute argument.
Yeah.
With somebody who ordered the entirely wrong thing, tried to subtract things from it to get to the thing that already existed on the menu anyway.
Oh no.
But there's no point. You might as well just go okay, and then you press the button. Yeah, bacon and egg muffin. You just press it anyway. It doesn't matter. Or just go, well, you're going to be paying for that and taking stuff. It's probably more expensive, isn't it? You know?
But I accidentally pre-ordered a meal and I was like, as a student, I was like, yes, I'm going to get my beef. I'm going to have beef, tomato salad. That sounds brilliant. Anyway, all of us were there. I was like, oh, where's my beef? Where's my beef? And they're like, oh, no one ordered the beef. And I'm like, but where's my beef?
Where's the beef?
I ordered it. And
Who's got
I'm
my
like,
beef?
so everyone gave me parts of their pizza because that's Frankie and Benny's, not Ben and Jerry's, Frankie and Benny's. Anyway, I got home and I was like, beef tomato salad. It's a beef tomato.
Oh,
So,
no. That's a faux pas, isn't it? My word.
did all the pennies drop at once? And you went, hold on
I'm
a
not
minute,
going to tell
beef.
anyone. I'm not gonna...
Oh, no.
I love it.
That's a complete and utter
You've raised the
devastated
question
meal.
now. How
Yeah.
many people in the world assume that beef has got something to do with beef
tomato.
tomato?
Beef tomato. It's just the and. There's one
Mate,
thing.
it's
There's
one
one
thing,
word in
yeah.
there.
It's nice,
Can
but it
change
doesn't
that
taste
thing.
very beefy, does it?
It's mad, isn't it?
I know.
One word.
Yeah.
Complete
Yeah, totally different.
devastation.
Totally
So
different.
what
That's
did you
it.
do? Did you go, have you got any beef? I've never heard of a beef salad, by the way. So
Beef and tomato salad.
I was
No, well,
suspicious.
they just really like the poor waitress was just like, I don't know what you're talking about, and I'm like, I definitely ordered.
yeah. When you double down on it. Yeah.
Oh.
yeah.
And then
love
everyone
that.
was just like, okay, can I have some more
In that
pizza?
situation, could you admit you're wrong if you really
Oh,
look
if
at the
I
thing?
worked it out, I'd been like, yeah, I actually genuinely, so I have apologized once before for making an email complaint because I just find it, I'm like, they might have been having a hard day. I'm so sorry to take it out from you. I'm really sorry, please. I'm really apologize. You might never want me to come to your cafe again. Genuinely, it was awful customer service. It was horrendous. And I just emailed saying, like, look, this is not good. I was so excited about coming to this place. I wasn't even in the same city. And I came and it was awful. And I genuinely didn't have any sleep that night either, but that's another story. And then I sent a sorry email afterwards saying, I'm so sorry. Everyone has a bad day. I can't believe I sent that email. I'm just so sorry. The guilt, so I have to. If I found out at the time, I'd feel awful, so I'd have to.
You've got me wondering now. It's like a separate podcast.
Ooh.
Is there any other foods like a beef tomato that can be
You get
misinterpreted? No, like duckfish or something like that, or like a.
Oh, it must be.
Yeah, well, I told you about it's not foods, but my mother-in-law, Pam, who's not with us anymore, right?
Yeah.
The go-to story that we used to tell around the Sunday dinner table. They were on holiday, and you know when older people do the patronising, they slow the voice down when they're talking to somebody foreign.
Oh no!
How are you? All this kind of stuff, and then they're not laying in. They're really articulated. So anyway, this waitress came over for breakfast. I said, "Oh, that's an unusual name," and she went, "Ramada," but they're in the Ramada Hotel. But that's the kind of name, do you mean? But she was like, after like a 20-minute conversation, then she got to the end of that, and she was really doubling down on it, and she just got
Oh my goodness!
She thought of her name was the name of the hotel. It's one of those that, you know,
that's something I'll do.
Everybody just slips down the chair like this.
So I figure, I hope she's called Ramada.
But it's just that kind of right at the very end of that conversation. Everything went out the window because she got that name right. But it was just one of those funny things because it just shows exactly who she was. But it was hilarious.
That
as
is
well.
just brilliant.
You know what I mean?
I love that.
Good intent, but complete.
I think that's but that's what makes life funny, isn't it? Those cringe moments. I can't watch them on TV, like those like Miranda, The Office. I have to watch them with company because it's too painful.
I've had plenty. I can't even mention them actually.
Is that bad?
But a bad situation ends up being a good story.
Yeah.
So you got to own it.
I'm not allowed to draw on this. I won't draw on it. This is I don't usually do this, but you know, there's some people in life that are people that, okay, we're getting a takeaway, we've got to get the pen and put our like, are you a pen person when you get a takeaway, or do you just keep it all in here?
Just pick it
in the head.
Depends on who's ordering. I do it on the phone.
Life's changed.
I do it on the phone. I'll still do it on a
type in
fact packet, like write it down.
So the Greg's thing's always going to be there.
Well, we'll do that
one last.
Yeah.
So that's already that starred. I look that you need a little annex thing with your star saying this may always be part of your dinner.
The may contain nuts.
Yeah, it may contain nuts. The thing is, it's a confusing menu, so we just kept it very confusing about how we do
this. Okay.
It's an ongoing thing.
Okay, I'm going for hot and cold.
Oh, right, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, don't say
that.
No,
it's not like that's right. That's how the lights go boom.
Yeah. We do because we love it.
Oh, really?
It's a really nice conversation.
Oh, that's really good.
It's like the foods that go well together: hot and cold, sticky toffee pudding with cold ice cream.
Oh.
Are you that kind of person, or you're a hot and hot?
Oh no!
Cold. What ice cream? With ice cream.
I used to love jelly with just cream.
Jelly and cream, yeah.
No.
It's still different temperatures because the jelly's been in the fridge and then cream might be a little bit lower temperature.
It's a nightmare. You can't get it on a spoon. Somehow you're supposed to have like really warm jelly with cold ice cream.
Just whisk it up so it's like. Yeah.
I used to do that.
Bits of jelly.
Yes. I used to melt the ice cream. Yeah. Yes.
The thing is, I think you're onto something here because the cream almost made a lubricant for the jelly to kind of slide around the bowl, so you could never get it on the spoon.
That's
the
even
jelly
worse.
would just fall off because the cream would just.
What are you doing to these poor kids?
An invention like a sieve spoon.
A sieve spoon.
Or like a little bag.
It just drains
you can't. You haven't watched enough Bargain Hunt.
About eating jelly with a fork.
It's like a special onion spoon, isn't there?
Yeah.
Anyway.
So hot and colds, what's your go-to hot and colds? What's your best hot and colds together?
So I'm a bit obsessive. I get obsessive about, like myselve, I'm quite obsessive about cooking. And especially breakfast. Breakfast is really important to me. And I love porridge. Mm-hmm. And when you have a really good... So I used to make ginger nut porridge with raspberries and then yogurt on the top. And it's like
yogurt on? Wet and wet?
No, because see, this is the problem.
Depends
People
on the
make
texture
their
of porridge.
porridge too gruely.
I completely agree with you.
Yes.
It should be, it's a surface.
Thick. It should be thick.
Yeah.
Yes.
I totally agree.
And I put 1 teaspoon of ginger, so it's spicy hot. And then you've got the sweetness of the raspberries, and then you've got the yogurt to cool it down. And then you're sort of like going to this really, really hot porridge, but cooling down with the yogurt. And then the berries are usually frozen berries that are defrosted. So you've got that big sharpness. You've got ginger, raspberry. And I do have this sort of, I know this, people hate chemicals, but I kind of like them. And I have this sort of toffee drop that I'd do the porridge with water. Sorry, people don't like that, but I love porridge with water with a drop of this ginger, this toffee stuff with the ginger, and that makes like this gingerbready porridge, and it's so
There's a real science to porridge,
oh my goodness,
right?
there is-
So, sorry, I've got... right.
Okay, calm down.
Professor Chris. A white coat on.
Dim the lights, please, and bring the whiteboard down. Right, so
yeah, point of
the
stick.
molecules. So
Laser
I love
pointer.
porridge, right? I love it.
I love porridge as well.
Yeah.
And I'm quite a purist about it. I don't want to put it. I don't want to put it in the microwave, right? I don't want it in the microwave.
Pan,
It's got me in a pan.
milk.
Milk.
I'm
Does it have to be
milk.
milk?
But do you
That's
go straight
okay.
to milk? Because I
Milk,
learned
because
something.
it's creaminess of the. It gets a different consistency with milk.
Try something. So I agree with you. My auntie, her Scottish roots, right? She said to me, right, started off with boiling water, literally like about a thumbnail amount of boiling hot water.
See, that's how the
your
good
porridge
measurements. You do, yeah.
and some sea salt,
Oh.
right? Cook it off. Cook the water off the porridge so it almost dries out. Then add your milk. Then cook it off. Makes a massive difference. It swells the oats.
Yeah.
Like, so when you talk about thick porridge, like it just swells the oats right up. It's incredible. And then I went
45-minute breakfast prep.
Oh
Do you know what I
man,
mean?
honestly,
It's
well,
like-
it is. So because don't you get a
Everything's
special?
about
What do you
prep.
call it again? I said-
Ladle.
You know, it's called like a spurtle or something.
Yes, it is a spittle.
Yeah.
I've heard.
A
Yeah, I know
porridge
my
spoon,
porridge. Yes,
right?
yeah.
It's a special spoon.
Special spoon for porridge.
It's special spurtle for porridge.
Special
Yeah,
spoon for
yeah.
porridge.
Special spurtle.
Special spittle for special.
Never ever heard of a spurtle.
So I stayed in a bed and breakfast last week in the Yorkshire Dales, right? I think it was called Raysgill. Keith and Hazel, right? So Keith, like, just placed all his pride in his porridge. It was like on the menu. It was a menu item, as in, you know, it was a hero item on the menu.
Yeah.
And made a big deal about it.
Was it in
And the
bowl?
next day, I came downstairs, and it's about because he starts it the night before, so he just soaks it in the milk on the top of the Arga, no heat on it, just leave like overnight oats.
Yeah,
I was going to say, is that what overnight
And
oats
it was
is?
like they had
Just
like a
soaked.
ratio of so much water to milk, and just came out with a pot of honey, pot of brown sugar, and some cinnamon.
Oh yes.
Oh man, it was just awesome.
I'm gonna try this new porridge recipe.
But honestly, try the hot
it's-
water.
yeah.
it is,
Hot water and sea salt first, because there's something about the saltiness that cuts through. If you whatever you
I
put
always
on,
add. I always add salt. I'm
Yeah.
bad for that. If there's something that I always, you know, if you keep a little hip flask or something, I don't know if this work with porridge.
Yeah.
Soy sauce, but you might not like it.
Soy sauce hip flask.
Yeah, if I could have one, I would have a soy sauce hip flask.
So I went into a complete parallel universe there.
But not
Yeah,
porridge.
really.
Not porridge.
Okay.
Not porridge. Sorry.
Soy sauce hip flask.
A chili belt, you know, like the little
Soy
chili
sauce.
holster.
I love soy sauce.
Um,
Too much salt.
Like
It is a lot of salt.
Yeah.
But so have you not tried salt in porridge before?
Chris, no one has ever told me about any of these things. You
Well, look
kind
at-
of you've entered a world where you had to figure this out. You just you put the thing in the pan and mixed it up. But as a child, you would try and like ready breck was a thing. That's just
I still love the taste.
Yeah.
that's just diced up kind of porridge.
Yeah,
oats,
Yeah,
isn't
you
it?
can make your
It's a
own
ready breck.
oat flour, can't
Yeah.
you, with Blitzer? Yeah,
And
yeah.
so for me, it was like the porridge when I was a kid, the porridge and then the brown sugar on the top would create like a crust. If you left it, it
Oh,
would kind
yeah.
of,
Yes, I love the
almost like,
crust.
you know, like you could skate on thin ice. It was like that. And then you would
Yes.
crack the top of this lovely
Like
little
a porridge
brown.
brulee.
Yeah.
Oh,
porridge brulee.
that sounds amazing.
Get
No
blood
one
torch out in that.
Yeah, but no one told us how to do it. It's just you figured out that's the best way to
That's-
do it.
that is
you
the
know
So
what
I
I
need
mean?
to say, I did speak with a bit of authority there about the porridge. I
Some
must
nuts in,
apologise
bit of crunch.
because I've only been doing that for the last 7 years, and I'm 47. So for 40 years, I didn't make porridge.
Did you
that
make
way.
bad porridge before
No,
that?
I didn't make bad porridge, but I like to perfect it. Now I love the taste of the porridge that I make.
But it's like having enough
Don't have
playtime to
enough
do
of-
it and
yeah, I
discover it, isn't it?
But you
Oh.
drop
That's the time.
raisins in, for instance, and they swell up with all of the.
Oh, I don't know if I agree with that.
I love raisins.
It's a
in
bit
porridge.
no. When people add raisins to things that they shouldn't be. I love raisins in chocolate, but I don't like it. Like, let's say you're eating like coronation chicken, and you're like, whoa, what's that? It's
Yeah, I
raisin.
don't like a raisin in coronation trick.
Raisin.
Yeah,
That's sweet and
yeah,
savoury.
yeah.
It's a
I've
I've got
yeah.
a problem with sweet and
Yeah,
savoury.
I don't like
Yeah.
surprise raisin. I like to know it's in there.
But then maybe the porridge raisins.
Surprise raisins.
Well, it is a surprise
There's
raisin.
a surprise.
I don't want to be caught out. It's because I think M&S many years ago, 25 years ago, M&S tinned curry used to have raisins in it. And you're like,
No way.
Nah,
flick them
no,
out. You know what I mean?
They still do the pot.
Trying
the
to be
coronation
exotic.
chicken.
Pointless.
Trying to be exotic.
Just put the chicken on the curry and have at it.
I'm going to start planting raisins across your entire life.
Yeah, I would have made
Get
a
in the
like
van
rat
and that,
droppings,
but,
you know what I
oh, for
mean?
God's sake,
Has
man,
it
there's
been
no
a
raisin
rat
on the
there?
dash-
Yeah.
There's a raisin on the dashboard.
You won't know.
Yes,
You won't know if it's the right
Oh,
one.
ring your
Yeah.
wife. Look at this. I'm going to send across a bag of raisins, right? You just do us a favour. Put a couple on the Dan's slippers later on.
Just fold one under my eyelid at night and
Oh no.
really get deep in it. Yeah. So
Other hot and cold.
So I love that. That's great.
Cool.
Let's another.
I don't like predictable ones.
That's okay.
I kind of. Oh, so I've got a lot to say. Oh, but
You think it might be predictable, but it's coming from our brains.
well, that's true.
so yeah,
Well,
all
but
right.
I'm picking one because I disagree with it.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Go on,
Great,
disagree
love
with
us.
it.
Come
I
on,
want you to.
let's go.
Curry and gravy. Where's the ketchup? Why is that not the priority
Do you
star?
not like curry or gravy
Well-
at all? On
Well, no. So
chips?
curry, I've never had. I never ordered it.
Right. Okay.
I
So
think someone else.
I mean, usually, Hannah, this is a chip-based question.
Oh, does it
So you go into the fish and chip shop.
love a soggy chip. Yeah.
You love a soggy chip, do
Got
you?
a soggy chip. It's great, but it's got to have a little few, like just a little gnarliness on the edges, a little bit.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's got to have that
Yes.
balance, not opaque,
Oh, sad.
but it has to be
chips.
kind of
Sad
browned
chips.
enough, but floppy enough.
Yes.
Perfect scenario. So chips, are you having curry? Or are you having gravy? Or are you having neither?
I'd have them. So you know when you go and you have a poppadom and you get the free little.
Yeah.
Why can't
Mango chutney.
For me, that's the best way of life. So I'd have
Okay.
like a little thing of gravy,
Mm-hmm.
a little thing of curry, and I would love my own little thing of maybe like a condiments
It's a
mixed.
posh
So it's
night
more
in with
like-
a bag of chips, that isn't it?
But it's-
Lazy Susan.
That would be the way I'd have it. Am I allowed?
That ball of chips in
Don't
the
have
middle and
any
then
pasta
spin it
hummus over.
around. Yeah.
I'm sick of this curry sauce.
But the thing is, that's good. It's because you're separating the things, right?
Just leave it alone.
You
Control.
separate, you
He doesn't
separate
like, I
them.
don't like, yeah.
You can't cross the streams. You're separating them, and then you choose which dip you have
And it,
per
yeah,
chip,
Yeah, and you
So
can sometimes
it's-
dip them into both if you want.
and then you can trial and error. And if it doesn't work, you're not forced. You haven't gone all in straight away.
Exactly.
I like that.
It's
Doesn't like
experimenting. I love to experiment.
Right, so okay, what
I like
happens when you
that.
add,
Okay. That's like an artistic palette.
right?
It
So
is.
hold on a
Colours-
minute.
colours
right,
and
hold on a
pockets.
minute then.
Right, come
Well,
on.
you've just backed yourself into a corner.
Hey,
You've backed yourself right.
how are
Honestly,
them? How are them?
I'm the spider in this web right now. Because I was trying to lead you down. I was trying to lead you down. I was trying to lead you down that
This is when
path.
hypocrite Dan
I
comes
was.
out here.
I was
with
trying to
what
lead you
said
down
now.
that path, right?
Oh, wait, oh, wait.
So, what happens when you add yellow and green together? What colour do you
You
get?
get a yellowy green, right?
Not yellow and green.
You
Oh,
get
what
a yellow
about
and
anything?
green.
Hang on.
Give us a
hang
You
on,
get
hang
yellow
on.
Give us a colour
green.
combination.
Yellow
If you
and
get
blue, isn't it?
so red and
Red
blue
and-
make purple.
Red
Uh-huh.
and blue make purple. Do
Uh-huh.
you like purple?
Yeah.
Do you?
Purple's like the
Interesting.
colour of
I wouldn't change
royalty.
it.
Interesting
colour.
how it's creating another colour, isn't it?
Wouldn't
Just
say.
like if you mix other things together, it creates different tastes.
Curry and gravy's a completely
So-
different thing. Do you know what I mean?
So what are we
handy.
talking about mix? Oh wait, I've heard you two argue
I
about
don't
this.
mind
Yeah.
It
things
makes things. No, I
crossing
love.
flavours.
So that's what I mean. You sort of mix them together and try them in different combinations. Yeah.
But the thing
and
is,
soy,
that-
get your soy sauce splatter.
Yeah,
out
exactly.
And add
Right.
that to the ketchup.
Oh,
Yeah.
mate. Right. Listen here, right? I'm to use this as an example. Curry and gravy are almost like, we're not talking like just normal primary colours here. You're talking The curry's like black. That does not mix with anything because that overpowers everything.
Is it like black and yellow? They don't work together.
You're gonna get you're gonna get a hint of that in, but the spiciness of the curry, you're never gonna get that gravy taste coming through. You just get the salt.
Oh, I see what you mean. So it's like overpowering. There's no point. The gravy
So
hasn't
there's no
got
point
space.
in putting both on together, but I see there's a point in like dipping. So if you're adding, because you could add a little bit less, a little bit more, then you've got the control of the ramekin.
I see what you mean. No, my husband would agree with you. He's one of those people that goes to Toby Carvery. He'll eat. So he'll go dry with and he'll eat the potatoes, the Yorkshire pudding, and everything, and then the mac and cheese. Weirdly, on I don't know why it's the only reason why my little boy will go. So we're all for the pasta because it's the only reason my little boy will go. Yeah. And then we go, and then he'll take his little plate back to the little gravy bit, and then just have it for his meat, and then come back.
Just on the meat.
Just on the meat. So he'll literally take. I'll be like, why didn't you ask for a jug? He's like, no, I don't want to bother. He doesn't want to bother anyone. It's like
I was just going to say, just take the jug to the table, and you got control of where and when you
he wouldn't ask
apply
for,
the
see,
gravy.
I don't mind. I'm always for always asking and being accepting. They might say no, but it's not going to hurt anyone.
I respect someone's game.
Yes.
I respect your choice. I respect the game.
Yes.
Because if you go, actually, no, it's any
I respect your game.
Anyone who's particular about something, you go, all right, okay, I'm really in about what you're going to do. I want to see. I want to see what your world is like, right? By going, actually, can I have a little bit of this and a little bit of that? I want to separate the curry and go, all right, there you go. I want to make sure that you're happy because this is your world you've created. You know what I mean?
This makes me so happy. This is what's really nice when you
I'll
go.
help you out.
Oh, you
all
see,
the bazaar. I like the bazaar. Go for it. Because you're owning who you are. That's what it should be about.
I love that. That makes me really
not
happy.
like, no, we've got one rule. You put it on here, you can't have it over there.
I have been places where I've asked for the stuff to be, where I've asked for something, and they're like, no, it only comes as it is.
Why?
Oh, I don't like that.
Why? Who's this? Who's the rule maker?
It's so
interesting. I was like, oh, okay.
Actually, that's a hard one, right? Because there's two sides of my hospitality brain.
Yeah.
Work in that moment because you go.
Actually,
there's a hospitality, right? You
if they politely say no,
but it's like if you go, I don't know, if you go to like a restaurant, a Michelin star restaurant, it's a tasting menu, and they're like, nope, we don't change anything. It comes out as it is.
Yeah, but that's a tasting menu, and you're going in for that.
I worked with a chef actually. When I had my first restaurant, only restaurant, the first chef we worked with, he would not give people condiments.
That's really interesting.
No salt. There was no salt or anything on the table. He was just militant. I've seasoned it. I've tasted it. It's how it should be.
This is my art. This is what I'm shipping to you, sort of thing.
I like that, but I think there should be, when you come in, there should be something above the door. A red circle, condiment free zone.
This is, I totally agree. No, because there is an element.
No condiments allowed.
But genuinely though, because when you go around Sunderland, there's different coffee places. You sometimes go because of the company, not the coffee. But there's one place I know that is so good for their coffee, but they won't let anyone put syrups in there. But you go there with the understanding, I'm going to go in there for that.
But you don't think
you're going in because they don't do syrups. You understand this is a thing. If you're going into a coffee shop wanting syrups, I'm sorry, it's not the syrup shop.
It's different worlds.
It's not Starbucks. Isn't a coffee shop.
You've got
it's a drinks thing shop.
Do you know what I mean? That's the thing, though. You've got food as fuel, right? Where people want to eat their food the way they want to eat it.
Yeah.
Right. And then you've got the food as theatre bit where they're going to do something that somebody else is offering them.
Yep.
And they're removing their own control.
But we're not going, can we hold the liquid nitrogen? I don't want the theatre or the Michelin star thing that you've created. You're going in for that experience. Like the tasting menu, you accept that this is what's going to happen.
It's how far you go, right?
But not gravy on the side. That's all I want. Yeah.
But like you could, a bit like nursing, right? We could talk for hours here.
I've got to give you something before we end. Though.
Okay. We had a customer, right, in the restaurant. She used to come every week. I won't mention her name, right? She was incredible. I'll try and paint the picture. It was an old. Our restaurant was on the top floor of an old Art Deco squash club.
Oh,
right?
Wow.
And so it was a mixture of kind of semi-local celebrities who lived in that area. It was an affluent area. Footballers or old money folk, right? Like with gigantic hair, blazers and that. Right? In that, probably like 180 years old or something.
Phil Spector.
Yeah, totally. And so this woman would call, right, on a Thursday and say, me and my husband are coming tomorrow, in a posh Evan voice, right? And you remember I'm dairy intolerant. And she used to get us to design a menu for her. So it would always be a soup, right? Can you make me a soup? A soup, please. Soup without any dairy, no butter, no milk, no cream. Okay, that's fine. Do that. And then she'd choose a main course. That'd be fine. No word of a lie. Every single time she came in, at the end of her meal, she'd go, I'll have the creme brulee, please.
You get
Absolute madness.
And I used to think that gaslighting had existed as a term then.
Yes.
I used to look and go, hold on a minute.
Yeah.
We've just spent the last 24 hours designing
That's
a meal for 2 people.
There's always
Say,
people
right.
like that.
I
There's
don't.
always-
Yeah.
Oh man.
I don't drink. I'll just have a double vodka at the end of the night. That's what
It was crazy. Like, we
Isn't it?
honestly think, are you trying to drive us mad?
Absolutely
crazy.
mad. Yeah.
Creme brulee, please.
Just a plain creme brulee. Yeah.
Or do you want the dairy-free one that we don't do?
Just a spoon and sugar.
Yeah. Bowl of porridge and water with a brown sugar on the top.
You know what's hilarious?
packet of
Everyone will
brown sugar and
think.
spoon.
What's hilarious is everyone will think they'll know that person because they're like, oh, I know. Is it?
Yeah, well, I hope they do. I know some people will remember that customer because she was incredible as well. She was a real kind of force of nature,
Oh,
like old
bless.
school.
Did that make
But I
it
used to
okay?
think, are you just? Am I like your prey this week?
Yeah, I just think that's that's the old middle class privilege, isn't it?
Or they came across really, really stern.
Yeah.
Or but on a night time, like on a Thursday night, she's ringing her husband. But she's like, we're going to ring that restaurant again, wind them up.
Aye.
Listen to this. Right.
Puts on the accent. They do a whole play just for
Totally.
you.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
But she talks to you, not looking at you, looks up. She just talks to
yeah.
you like that. You're over there.
Oh.
Right. Greg's
Fantastic.
order. And then what you want to talk about?
What's your Greg's
Really?
order?
Yeah.
Oh, guys, this is so. My husband is an absolute loyal fan of Greg's. He will actually get 2 sausage rolls, the vegan one and the sausage roll, because, yeah. Anyway, that's not me. I do take a bite of his, but anyway, my
Or
order
both.
of both. Yeah, 'cause you have to try to compare. But you know the old-fashioned thing in the mines where they used to have this. Apparently, this is myth to me, but the pastry one would be savoury, and the other would be sweet. Right? Is that true? You know that? When the miners they used to have pastry on one side
Yeah,
would be
Cornish
sweet.
pasty was that.
Cornish
It
pasty.
was,
Yeah, it was the thing to
it was
hold
the
the
full
thing
meal.
inside.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
why don't we have a Greg's version where one side's a sausage roll and the other side's the millionaire shortbread?
You have to make a request, say at the
Can
camera.
that be okay?
Come on, Greg.
Do you
Hannah's
have
got a request.
Do you have the
That's your
the
camera there.
well-known order?
Oh,
of-
you actually talking
Hannah.
to Tim.
Where's
that
the
one.
where? That one?
Straight at you.
I'm
Go
so
on.
sorry.
Go on, go for it. Greg.
Please,
Tim doesn't work for Greg's.
please. So did you say the Cornish pasty?
Yeah, Cornish
Yeah.
pasty.
Hey,
Cornish
Greg.
pasty.
Hi, Greg. And no worries if you don't have it. But if you did, would you be able to do part savoury, part sweet? So have a sausage roll one side and a millionaire shortbread on the other. That'd make me really happy. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Love that.
So is that your dream order?
Well, not totally, because I'm like, are we eating in or out?
Ooh.
And I really like the new in one in the Bridges, for the record.
Okay.
My little boy calls it the pretend cafe because the one opposite was the proper one. And so that's the pretend. Well, the real one is shit, but the pretend one is
I love it.
so he was obsessed with shutters. He's like, oh. So anyway, yes. So we go to the pretend one and we like to sit in.
So what are you having in the pretend one then?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
what's your
obviously the sausage roll with the millionaire. But
Yes.
okay, and the cheesy. Have you tried those cheesy nibbles? The little. Me and my
I've seen
husband
them
share one.
several times, but
They're,
I've not tried them.
they're just they're very adorable. They're very
What,
lovely.
the bites?
Little bites, yeah. It's a little bit. They're probably not cost effective, but they are just. You have to. We actually have to eat. So I didn't tell you how we eat as a family. So my little boy's here, my husband's here, and if we order anything like cakes or he can't. My little boy can't concentrate, and he gets so obsessed about the thing. So we have to generally buy something and hide underneath our chairs.
Mm-hmm.
So we are the people that sit in whatever cafe and we'll have a plate of cake. And then when we're eating it, we eat it like sideways. So our little boy can't sit, and then he'll catch you. He'll be like, yeah, And we're like, oh no, it's caught us.
So you've got a secret eat your
Last
dessert.
one.
Yeah.
Last one. We all have. Me and my husband do because he can't. Because of his autism, he can't cope if there's food like present and it's there. And like we had communion at church, and they were giving the bread bits out, and we had to hold it and wait. It's like the bread. And we're like, shh, it's okay, bread, the bread. I'm like, it's not here anymore. It's gone. And he was fine afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, oh man.
Oh man,
So that's why we have to hide our food underneath the chair.
you have some food pockets.
We do. You know what? We do need to get. There's some things. Well, that's another conversation. What you do and don't put in a pocket.
Well, you'll have your soy sauce.
Yeah,
Holster-
but so as a
holster.
nurse, you'd sometimes put a patient would give you a chocolate. You don't eat it. You don't know it. Depending on the patient.
Yeah.
One of my friends was given Maltesers and they weren't Maltesers. Anyway,
Oh my god.
you put it in your pocket. If you forget about it at the end of the shift, you end up having a
surprising,
chocolate stain.
The worst Kinder Surprise ever.
Oh, but it's not crunchy. Where's the Malteser in the
You'd be thinking,
Malteser?
is this one of these whole chocolate ones?
Yeah.
But
Like more
anyway,
like a
you'd
rebel,
end
wouldn't
up with a little stain on your in your uniform if you forget about it. And you
Oh.
go out to put your
Yeah.
pen and your hand comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
bad times, death by chocolate.
That's a rough one, isn't it?
Oh dear.
Sorry, we could talk about so much more.
So, did we get your final Greg's order from the
Yeah,
real
it
Greg's
was.
Cafe?
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
what?
no, the
So what?
sausage
So I'm
roll,
not.
isn't
So sausage roll and millionaire shopbread doesn't
Millionaire
count.
shortbread. No,
Oh,
it
can
does.
count.
No.
That is my
Yeah.
order.
We
And
just-
the
we
lemon
we
and
just forgot.
and the lemonade.
Mm-hmm.
That the
Ah,
pink
yes.
lemonade
Yeah.
that takes the back of your throat off. I love that one.
Yeah.
It's like so sharp,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
wakes you up. I love that. So that's
Perfect.
my
Yeah.
order. Not the coffee. Don't like the coffee.
You don't like the coffee.
Really don't like the coffee. I'm sorry, Greg. Sorry. Please still make my.
But please do
Still
the thing.
me make my.
Sorry, Greg.
Make it, Greg.
Sorry,
Mr.
coffee,
Greg.
Good, fantastic. Is there?
Right,
Has Hannah
you've
got
got
something?
you've got something you want to talk about, haven't
I
you?
do.
Got something you want to
Before we
talk
finish.
about?
Oh my goodness, I do. Right. In my bag of things.
The bag of many things.
Oh, I bought some.
Ooh.
Now I know you have healthy treats. Brussels sprouts with soy sauce are really good, but I didn't bring that today because I stink the bag out.
Ooh, never heard of that
Yes.
before. Yeah.
But, oh,
That's all right,
sorry.
that's all
Hi, I'm here. So I made.
Like
Now
bit
this
of
is supposed
skill
to
in
be. So I used to be really into baking and making people happy, and I'd take it to work. So
Mm-hmm.
they'd be like, "What have we got for food today?" Or have we got a poem? And they'd usually always ask, "What have you put in it?" Today I actually almost followed the recipe perfectly, which is how to make the perfect blondie. Except I didn't have enough sugar, so I put honey in, and I didn't have enough white chocolate, so I put regular chocolate chips in.
Okay, so you're adapting the recipe. I like that.
That's not what I was going to show you, so
No,
I'm
no,
distracting
no, no.
things. So I'll
tell
let
you
you
what,
have that
I'm
when
gonna-
I take the next thing out.
Okay.
There you go. Oh, really? I was like thinking you might not want it because like you don't like.
Oh no, don't be silly. Can we
Really?
keep that and have
It's
it
nothing
all?
going to be nothing compared to what you guys
You know
usually
what?
taste.
I love the fact that you've recycled a tin.
It was from years
This-
ago from the pound shop.
No, but what you always do, these always end up with this has got like threads and needles and stuff in. Do you know what I mean? We
batteries.
always
Yeah.
Or batteries.
you know, like a tin, a biscuit tin's always something like that. You know.
Yeah, no.
I've got one with bandages in and stuff.
Really?
Like that. I've
Really?
Got, yeah, I've
Oh,
got,
yeah.
I've got
I usually put food in them, but
the
yeah,
tin,
no.
the tin of use. Oh no,
That's
this
really good.
Oh, it gets repurposed.
Can we,
also.
can
I
we
like
keep that for
I'll
now?
tell you
Have
what,
a
You
we've
go
got-
keep
we
at
that,
it?
put
keep
that-
that. Have it with your
When I've
yeah,
got-
it goes
when
with the
I've got
coffee.
a break.
Oh,
Yeah,
so leave
so
it on that bad boy.
smells.
Oh, it's got some. Hey,
See, it's a proper blondie. It's like it's heavy.
Just smell it.
I don't know.
Right.
My sense is I can smell it coming. I can smell it coming through the door, man. Do you know what I mean?
This is me.
I'm sensitive now. I'm like, someone's got sugar.
So
It's really exciting.
This is really exciting.
Ooh, I
I'm
like
very
this.
excited. What,
Yeah, yeah.
Greg?
Go on, do it.
Is that Greg?
Directly at the
Was that
camera.
the
Greg's-
audience?
Greg's there, yeah.
That's
that's
the audience. Hi, Greg. Hey,
Hello,
or
everybody.
people. Hello, everyone. Hi. So this is very exciting. On the 28th of June, I'm looking at you, so you're
Yeah,
going to tell
28th
me.
of June.
28th of June on Saturday at
Sunnyside Food Market?
Garden Street Market.
Yeah.
The Northeast Heroes, me and Joe Gordon, who is what's the posh word? The owner, the leader of
She is the
the
founder,
the
and
founder,
entrepreneur.
the founder and entrepreneur of My Sister's Kitchen has written a book, and I illustrated it.
Ooh.
And this is the book that's going to be launched and available for purchase. And I will also be doing a live storytelling of it. It is called The Story of the Lazy Loaf. and it's a story about growing in your own time and space. And it's just it's a magical book. I would pass it to you to have a look at. But I also, whilst we're at the market, there's not only that happening. There's going to be beautiful bubbles. There's going to be exciting things. But I'm also going to be doing a little craft activity of making your own stress dough ball. Because it's about a dough ball.
Stress dough ball.
And
I love
you
that.
guys into stress dough balls. So I've got one for you, Chris, and one for you. Like you've got.
It's like jazzy.
And you in your own baking tin as well.
I need a stress dough ball.
And they're very easy. I nearly brought the kits. I was going to make them here, but then I was told that would be a bad idea.
It's like jazzy bee.
Look at
So
that.
you can squidge them, and they're sort of for like stress relief.
Do you know what it is? Perfect for us.
I know.
They're awesome.
They're gonna be burnt out in a day though, aren't they?
So you can make your face really thin.
you.
Really.
It's like a mini. It's like comes in a mini loaf tin as well. It looks like, that's what it looks like, doesn't it?
Chris
Yeah,
and
so
Danny's.
they'll be so they'll be there
That's
to
the
be able
better
to create
version of
them.
Chris and Dan.
I like the
On
hair
your
on that
podcast
pod,
near
doesn't
you.
it? That's good. That's good. Lovely.
So remind me, when is that available from?
So it's already available for pre-order.
Can we pre-order one, please?
You can
for
pre-order
the
one.
studio?
You really?
Yeah, we'd love
well,
one.
actually,
Of course we would.
Of course we are. Yeah, we'll pop it on the shelf as well.
Yeah,
It goes
on
on
the
our-
shelf.
goes on our shelf of things.
You
Isn't it?
also get gifted with
Oh, look at this. We're getting gifted.
also a lazy dough kit as well. Oh, so it's topping up flour, and then
Oh, bro.
also it's even got a little recipe which is in here somewhere.
Puff of flour.
In my big bag.
Drama.
Where's
Hot moss.
it gone? Oh, here it is. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is what happens when somebody's in my kitchen for a long time. It did have honey, but I wet wiped it on it. Yeah, that was when I was cooking. And so I'm really sorry it's a bit sticky. But
It'll stick on the wall. It's fine.
See, it's a blue top.
please read it before you do stick it on the wall, because that's the important bit about. The important bit about my sister's kitchen. But then the recipe is safe. So yeah, I'm sorry. Be careful. It's
Easy
sticky.
to up.
I did try and wipe it with a wet wipe.
That's perfect.
So you can. Yeah, it's come from the bench, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Love
Well, so we did make
Right,
one.
it's gonna go
so.
up on the. It's gonna go up on the shelf. The
Let's go on
notorious
the
shelf.
The
shelf.
shelf,
Yeah,
yeah.
it'll
We've
go
got to
on
fill
the
up the
shelf.
shelf, man.
Is there sound effects that are going to go happen when
Like-
you put it on the shelf?
Something like that. Oh, I don't know. It's like the
No.
top from
Dun,
above.
dun, dun. No,
Dun,
that's the
dun.
wrong one.
Yeah.
Wrong one. You know
Maybe a
that
bit of
scene.
techno music or something like that.
Dun, dun,
I'm
dun.
going to squeak you off. I cannot do it now. My voice doesn't work.
That's a donkey. Sorry.
A donkey, so it was, yeah.
So we've got a little table of goods now.
Donkey horn.
Oh, Hannah, thank you so
That's
much.
brilliant.
No.
Thank you very much, Hannah.
No, thank you so much.
Here is your
Yeah, we've
story.
got- look, it's a
Storyteller
multitude
story.
of
This is the
gifts.
story. I'm so excited. Yeah. So thank you for having me.
You
Thank
are welcome. Thank you so
Fantastic.
much.
No problem.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Awesome.